Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Oh, welcome in to an MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning phone-in Friday. Ron Potesta with you alongside Anthony Hardwig as we are with you till 3 o'clock, chit-chatting about everything and anything involved in the world of sports. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline is open, 330-886-0813. And Anthony, unlike Tom Brenneman, I'm not going to say anything stupid on a hot microphone.
Jeez, can you believe that? Like, couple things. One, what he said has no place in society now, period. Two, you're taught, first thing in broadcasting school, first thing you're taught is your mic is always hot. You have to treat it like it's always hot. And if you don't, you're going to end up in trouble like Tom Brenneman over there. So he broke two rules. One, he said something that shouldn't be said in any form of civilized society. And then two, he did it on a hot mic.
Yeah, for those that are not aware of what Tom Brenneman did, Wednesday nights in between, or actually Wednesday night during Game 1 of a doubleheader against Kansas City, while there was a break in the action, and let me preface all of this before we go any further, all of the Major League broadcasters are not traveling with the team. So all of the broadcasters are in a studio when their team is on the road, and they're essentially broadcasting the game off the feed of the home team's broadcast. So Tom Brenneman is in a booth, probably in the studios of Fox Sports Ohio in Cincinnati, and it was in between innings. Commercials were being run. Now, here's the thing, and let me peel a little bit of the curtain from the stage to give everyone a sense of how this is and what it's like in broadcasting. So you'll have a microphone that you'll broadcast games from, and you're going to be talking into that microphone, obviously, when you're broadcasting the game. Well, when there's a commercial break, you're supposed to have the pot turned down. That is all supposed to be turned down, and the commercials will be played. The microphone, and if I can do an example right now, the microphone would be turned off like this. Yeah, you see my lips moving, but nothing's coming out because the spot where the microphone was turned off, it was turned down to no volume, so you couldn't hear anything. Now, during the course of an in-between inning, that microphone is supposed to be turned off. Unfortunately, the producer did not have that microphone turned off.
There's usually a guy whose only job is to run the soundboard.
Yeah, exactly.
And he, granted, in a national, well, a regional, but a national broadcast is a lot more complicated than our little soundboard with two volume buttons. All you have to worry about is those two slides. But in the end of the day, it's a lot of stuff, but you're still just flipping down stuff. I mean, it's not like you have to turn a bunch of knobs and adjust stuff. You're just turning down sliders. And,
exactly. Now, and people can sit back and go, well, then obviously it's this person's fault. No, actually, Tom Brenneman, what he said, sorry, there's no business for anyone to say anything like that. Hot microphone, cold microphone, no microphone. You shouldn't say what he said. And for those that are unaware, he gave very homophobic slur that begins with an F, has a G at the end. And he was, I'm going to assume because the game was in Kansas City, was talking about Kansas City in that context.
It's my city, man.
As soon as he said it, people really weren't thinking all that much because this was done in the first game.
Yeah.
And the Reds finally got around to taking him off the air in the 5th inning of the second game. So it really wasn't a big deal when he first said it. I think there were a lot of stunned people. And then the phone calls started flooding in from Fox Sports in Cincinnati. And then clearly the Reds were pretty much now in the loop as to the disgusting display of words that Brenneman used, and he was taken off the air. The Reds have still not fired him yet. They have suspended him, and they're leaving his job as he could get fired, maybe not, depends. Fox, because Brenneman was the number 3 national broadcaster on the football coverage of Fox, he's already been let go by Fox, so he will not be on the National Football League this season. Here's the one thing that I will say. I grow very tired of 2 things in life. I grow very tired of people using their religion and trying to hide behind it. And the other thing that I grow very tired of is when people sit back and go, well, that's not me. I'm calling bullshit on both things. First of all, Tom Brenneman's faith had absolutely zero to do with the disgusting word that he used in the homophobic slur that he used. Your faith has zero to do with what you're saying at that moment. So don't use your faith as a crutch. I hate when people do that, and I hate when people try to sit back and go, well, I'm a man of faith. Okay, and what does that have to do exactly with what you just got done doing? That's number 1. Number 2, well, I'm not that type of person. Really? Then why did you say it? You are that type of person. Just own it. If you're someone who is going to drop an F-bomb that says the anti-homophobic slur, or you're dropping an N-bomb, which is a slur toward black people, or you're dropping another disgusting word that would describe another person's the color of their skin or their sexual preference or anything that's going to be a disgusting slur, you are that person. Just own it. You are that person. Now, I don't know what the Reds are going to do. I mean, this is an interesting situation because, Anthony, Tom Brenneman is the son of a name that is royalty in the city of Cincinnati. Marty Brenneman is a Hall of Fame broadcaster. Marty Brenneman is one of the 5 or 10 greatest baseball broadcasters to ever call a game. But does that have anything to do with the fact that the Reds should probably do the right thing and get rid of Tom Brenneman?
Yeah, that's probably the reason why he's suspended right now and not fired, just because of the respect of whose son he is and the respect they have for his father. But I would be shocked if he calls a game for them again, ever, period.
Yeah, it's just a very, very
his
bad
apology
situation.
was so awkward and so and then he called a home run in the middle of it.
Yeah, that was look. That's so 2020. Castellanos hits a home run. He's describing a home run while
and
he's trying to apologize.
Back to my apology.
Yeah, back to my apology in which I said I'm a man of faith. This is not me. Okay, yeah.
You just got done proving to the world that it's you.
And by the way,
wasn't
it interesting that the order in which he apologized, the people that were offended, and if I may have offended someone, if you don't think calling someone the 3-letter word that is the most horrible word to describe a gay person, you don't think that people were offended? If? How about to the people that I offended, not if I offended, that I offended, I apologize. Seriously. Oh, my God. Hey, you may want to give me that name again so I can. John DeSantis. Okay, the Ursuline AD and the offensive coordinator is going to be calling in. Yeah, we're gonna talk some football. So John DeSantis.
I said it on
calling in.
Wednesday. Ursulin's offense looks prolific in the toys they have in their toy chest.
Be fun.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, no doubt. So we'll see what happens with Cincinnati, but the whole if I offended anyone, I got it. I started laughing at that in a bad way because I was like, dude, you did offend people by saying that.
That's almost as bad as the people that say, I'm sorry that you were offended by what I said. Because that's not apologizing for what I said. That's apologizing for your own feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, I'm sorry you were offended. Well,
really? I mean, the apology 101. I don't know what I have no idea where that came from. That's probably not even a good apology. I'd probably say, look, I am so sorry for saying what I said. I have no idea where that came from, but I promise that's never going to be said again. I can't even begin to tell you how sorry I am for any hurt feelings, anything, any pain that I have caused you. My sincerest apologies. That's an apology.
What you did there, you never once covered your own butt. Like, you never once said, I'm a good person. I swear to God, I'm a good person.
To me, when someone sits back and goes, I'm a man of faith, this isn't me. Your faith has nothing to do with what you just said, and spare me this crap that it's not you. It is you. You dropped an F word. Seriously, if it's not you, then you wouldn't be saying it.
We have our GM standing right over your shoulder, by the way, and he's got a looming presence.
Oh, I know. John DeSantis is calling in, so as soon as he calls in, we're going to have him on, and we'll have some fun talking Ursuline football. 1 week from today, football starts. Last night in Utah, American Fork High School. Don't ask me where American Fork is, but American Fork High School.
It's right to the left of American Spoon, and if you've hit American Plate, you've gone too far.
Well, an American Knife, that's a river. American Fork High School, the AD shut the game down and said, no one's playing until the masks are up. So we'll get into that a little bit. Right now, joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, the AD and the offensive coordinator for Ursuline High School, John DeSantis. Coach, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I got to ask you, all the toys that you guys have, did you build a toy closet at Ursuline large enough to fit all of these offensive-minded toys that you have right now on the Ursuline football team?
Well, I think we're gonna do the best we can.
Yeah, you guys might be a little loaded this year in a good way offensively. Talk a little bit about the incredible presence that you guys look to have on the offensive side of the football field this year, Coach.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're really fortunate. We have most of our team back from last year, so we have a lot of kids with a lot of valuable game experience, and we're hoping to capitalize off of that. So obviously some well-known names that you guys have talked about and have been talked about throughout the Valley. Our quarterback, Brady Shannon, wide receivers, Matthew Reardon and Dean Boyd are our two leading returners as far as receivers are concerned. Trent Hill, DeMarcus McElroy, and Dante Walker are all back at running back. So we've been pretty fortunate as far as our skill positions are concerned. A lot of kids with a lot of really great game experience. And then on the offensive line, the whole offensive line is back. So we're hoping that, we took some lumps last year as a very young team. But, offensively, I think we have a lot of great experience that's going to help us this year.
When you look at Ursuline's schedule, I mean, you guys go through the gauntlet during this season. How much do you think that'll prepare you for when the playoffs come around and you're sitting in Division 5?
Well, Division 4, it's always been our philosophy here that we believe that to be the best, you got to beat the best. So we've always made sure that we have a challenging schedule, a group of teams that we're going to play that we know are going to push us to our max and really test us week in and week out. So hopefully, we'll be able to face some adverse situations throughout the course of the season that, like you said, will prepare us when we get to the playoff, to the tournament.
Coach, obviously this is going to be a weird situation with COVID-19, and we were talking before we had you on. Last night, the state of Utah started their high school football season, and the AD of a school in Utah shut the game down and said, we're not going to continue this game until the student section spreads out into their assigned seats. Everyone puts a mask on. Otherwise, this game is going to be shut down and canceled. A lot of things are going to be looming over everyone's head other than just football. Is it a weird situation for you guys in a day in, day out preparations in terms of the practice and what you guys have to do differently in the COVID world?
Yeah, so there's obviously, everybody's aware, there's been a multitude of changes that have taken place. And, just this week, the new health order that's allowing sports to take place. There's a lot of different things in there that these schools are going to have to follow. And so, first of all, I respect the athletic director that you're referring to for doing that. And it's something that, the message that we're going to be sending out to all of our families, all of our students, all of our players, and just all the stakeholders who are involved in a game night situation, whether it be for soccer, for football, for volleyball, whatever the sport. The responsibility really falls on all of us, and we have to make sure that whether we're a fan, whether we're a coach or a player or whatever, that we're following the rules and we're doing everything we can to keep these kids on the field and on the court, because all it takes is a couple of people doing the wrong things, and it could really have a negative effect on our kids. And at the end of the day, it's about the kids, and we want to make sure we're doing the best we can for them.
Yeah, you brought up volleyball. Volleyball, the indoor sport in the gym, and everyone's kind of more concerned about the COVID-19 indoors. Are there ramped up precautions for, volleyball being indoors, or is it still going to be the same 15% capacity of the gym and spreading everybody out?
Yeah, so surprisingly, it's a similar concept, and that's something that's kind of flown under the radar a little bit, and it will be 15% capacity of gymnasiums. A lot of schools are doing a lot of different things. They're approaching it differently, maybe, but the idea here is still the same as it is for every sport: social distance, put your masks on, and just follow those guidelines.
John DeSantis, our guest, he is the offensive coordinator at Ursuline. He also serves as the Irish athletic director. And John, you are essentially calling the shots in terms of not just volleyball and the non-contact sports in the fall, but football as well. I mean, you're going to be wearing a lot of different hats, and I can only imagine if something were to go on similar to last night. How do you, as the offensive coordinator, you have to quickly put your AD hat on? Is that something that you're prepared to do during the course of the year when you play your home schedule at YSU?
Right. So I've been very fortunate. We have a great staff here. My assistant, Jody Scarfone, has been outstanding, as well as our principal, Matt Sammartino, and our two assistant principals, Michelle Carousel and Maggie Daymore. They've been excellent. And then the folks that I work with over at YSU, because we play soccer at YSU and football, so we work with them quite a bit, and we've been working together alongside the health commissioner, the health department as well. So there's a lot of people who are involved in this to put together the best plans we can, so that we can be ready when game night comes around for all of our sports, and hopefully take a little bit off of me, during a football game.
Hey, John, obviously everyone is allowed to play a scrimmage. Did you guys get a scrimmage in last night, or are you preparing for a scrimmage today? What is the scrimmage situation in Ursuline for this week?
So we are not scrimmaging. With our home opener being Thursday, the 27th, versus Cheney, and the health order not allowing until scrimmages to occur until today, we decided it would be in our best interest to just start the concentration on Cheney.
JD, it's Coach Leslie.
Coach, how are you?
I'm good. Hey, a couple things. First of all, on my end of it as the GM here, we're awful proud to have Ursuline as a part of YSN. We're excited. This is it's a big journey for us, and we're really looking forward to being able to video, obviously, 50-some schools, and to be able to do those games and be able for, I think we have talked about this before, the opportunity for people that cannot attend the Ursuline football games. It's a great way, and I know we will get together and promote this. Talk about that a little bit, the ticket standpoint, and for those fans that don't have the family member, the band member, the cheerleader, or the students, we're going to be the home of the Irish all season long, and we're excited to be able to have a pay-per-view for $9.99 for the Ursuline fans to be able to watch Ursuline football all season. So talk about that a little bit.
First of all, I want to thank you guys for what you do, because I really believe that your company, you guys are all about our student athletes, and I think with high school sports, high school football in particular, a lot of people might lose sight of what it's really about, and at the end of the day, it's about the kids, and I feel like you guys over at YSN always have put the kids first, and that's the most important thing. And so, in terms of you guys, live streaming the games and giving people the opportunity who may not be able to attend on Friday nights, the opportunity to watch the game, I think that's not just great for the kids, but it is great for our spectators as well, for our fans as well. So, we are still finalizing our plans with the diocese and with the health department as to what ticket sales are going to look like for us for football and for soccer. We'll be finalizing that hopefully by the end of the business day today, and we'll be pushing that information out to our families first, and then to our fans after that. So, I just thank you guys for everything you guys do, because there may be people who are not able to attend the game, and they'll have the venue to do so with you guys. So,
Hey, John, give everyone the gauntlet of a schedule that you guys have, because you open up against Cheney, but it gets a little bit more interesting after that.
Stronger,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So we do. Again, we're very proud to talk about our schedule, and we're proud for the teams that we're playing. So, week 1 is Thursday, August 27th against Cheney over at YSU. Week 2, Austintown Fitch comes to Youngstown, and then week 3 we go to Boardman. Week 4 we have Youngstown East at YSU. Week 5 we're going over to Harding, and week 6 we have our rival Cardinal Mooney over at YSU.
That's a pretty light schedule.
Definitely a challenging schedule. We're happy that we're able to keep it local. I think that's good for the kids.
Sure.
And it's good for just the health aspect of things right now. Keeping it all in the Mahoning Valley was important to us as well.
Let me ask you, and you bring up an interesting point within the Mahoning Valley. It seems to me that again, assuming that we're able to get into the playoffs and be able to finish a 6-game regular season with everyone going into the playoffs, it seems to me the fact that you have kept everything in the Mahoning Valley and you are not venturing out to the Akron market, the Cleveland market, the Canton market, Columbus, Cincinnati, etc., seems to me that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be going, okay, what does this team have? In other words, there's going to be a lot of homework that's going to be provided, or that coaches from the opposing team are going to have to do a lot more compared to the last few years when Ursuline was playing in Akron, Cleveland, Columbus, and Canton. This could be a big advantage for you guys this year in the first and second round of the playoffs, Coach.
You know what? I hadn't even thought of it that way. So now that you mention it like that, I like what we did even more.
But JD, one more thing, and I've known you a long time, Ronnie and Anthony. This guy is one of my favorite people. Does a great job as an athletic director. My son played football, played there for him. My daughter is at Ursuline. So, JD, a big thing for us, and I hope there's a lot of Ursuline fans that are listening, and it's for all our fans that we're going to be able to stream these games at $9.99. I think one of the things that DJ and I are most proud of is the promotion that it's going to get, but the biggest thing is the school is going to get back 25% of all the games that are sold. And I think that in this time, in this era that we're in financially, I know how hard it is for athletic departments to do things. So 25% for a quality football program in a season, hopefully we can help out Urson and also all our other schools in giving them that 25% to put it towards that athletic department.
I'll tell you what, Steve, I think you can't say that loud enough, and that's another aspect of another example of you guys really giving back to the schools and the kids that you are working for. So, yeah, in a time where tickets are going to be limited and so ticket sales are going to be limited, a lot of athletic departments around the state are going to be hurting. So to have a program like this to where if people are purchasing the pay-per-view events weekly, that going back to the school is going to be a very big help for our kids.
All right, so let's promote it. And this is for everybody. I'm a big Urson fan, I'm going to admit, but this is for everybody in your schools. For the local restaurants and pubs, this is your chance. You can get a nice group of guys to come in, watch the Irish play football, make yourself a little bit of money and help out high schools. And JD, that's what we're proud of. I'm awful glad you called and anything that on our end of it that we could do to promote Urson High School, number one, and Urson football, and obviously volleyball and soccer. Anthony will be heavily in tune to that. We'll be doing some games. So we're looking forward to an exciting fall for the Irish, but I'm glad you called in.
Outstanding, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Hey, John, before you go, I'm going to stir the pot a little bit. The over-under on your offense, 34.
I'm going to go over.
Is that
I watched him practice yesterday. I'm going over.
Is that a fair number to go over under?
That's a tough schedule. That's a pretty tough question, though. But you know what? I'm going over. I'm going to put the heat on him. He gets to answer all the questions. I was screwing around with him yesterday. I was like, Coach, I really didn't like that formation. And the coach's great answer is, well, that's not really for you to decide. So I'm going to go over to put the heat on Coach Reardon and the boys. But, hats off to you guys. Good luck to you and look forward to seeing you next week.
Long as we win by one, I'm
That's
happy
it.
with it.
There you go. There you go. Hey, John, always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. John DeSantis, offensive coordinator and the athletic director at Ursuline. Can you imagine that conversation? Yeah. Hey, we won 49-48.
Well, the offense is happy.
Yeah, the offense is happy.
While we're talking, that's one of the things that we're most proud of for all our conferences, for our independents. The fans get an opportunity. Obviously, not everybody's going to go in, but we're here for you. It's a great opportunity. Pay that $9.99 a week, and 25% of that is going to that school and at that athletic department. And let's be honest, there's tough times in the athletic departments right now when you're cut on tickets. You still have to pay officials. You still have to do all those things. So we're excited. It's going to be a crazy 6 weeks, and we're looking forward to it. But I just wanted to hop on and thank you two for what you do for all of us. And it's football season, so let's go.
This is going to be a lot of fun. I was telling someone it's going to be quite bizarre next Friday not seeing a full capacity stadium. And in my case, Crestview opens up in Champion. It'll be bizarre to not have very many people in the stands, but hopefully everyone takes advantage of the $9.99.
We got your back.
Yeah.
Watch it. We got your back. It's live, and then we'll have a high school show at night.
The other thing I'm really excited about the audible call, which is going to be like your NFL red zone for high school football.
We got a little bit of everything.
We're going to be pumping out scores and pumping out live updates, and it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I'm looking at the artwork that you guys have going on here. I'm assuming that this is the desk for
it's going to be
the for the audible call.
Yeah, that's going to be the studio. We're excited
good.
about that, and you guys will be a big part of the high school season, and let's go. We'll see if we can get a couple more guests on here today. So I'll go out and see if I can get you a few more.
Yeah, 1 week from today, we get ourselves a high school football game.
Not even that. I mean Thursday.
Well, actually, yeah, Thursday. 6 days from now, because Ursuline opens up against Cheney. So there you go. Scott Knox will be in studio at 2:00 this afternoon, and we'll have a really spirited conversation with Knoxie as the Padres continue to be everyone's whipping boy, depending on what side you want to be on. But here's something with San Diego. They hit another grand slam last night. What is that, 4 in a row?
My boy Eric Hosmer with 4 consecutive games with a grand slam. I think that's an MLB record.
Has to be. Well, he hasn't hit 4 straight grand slams, but the organization has hit 4 consecutive grand slams.
He hit the one last night.
Yeah. So it has to be a record if it's not already. But that was That was pretty cool. And
It
Padres are a lot of fun to watch.
It wasn't on my 2020 bingo card.
No. A lot of things weren't on my 2020 bingo card. Tom Brenneman getting fired by Fox Sports was definitely not on my 2020 bingo card.
Welcome to 2020, man.
Holy smokes. All right,
No, the Padres are fun to watch. They have no pitching, except some big guys in their bullpen.
They got a decent rotation, but they're the only guy in the bullpen that I'm really wanting to see, and I think he's been a godsend, has been Drew Pomeranz. He's had an unbelievable year at by and large.
Every time I try to think of that guy's name, I think pomegranates.
Yeah, pomegranate.
Pomegranate.
Yeah, I wonder if he drinks pomegranate juice.
He better. Come on.
I would hope
for the content.
Yeah, I would hope. 330-886-0813. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline is open. It is a phone-in Friday, thanks to our wonderful sponsors at MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Take a time out. We'll go into detail. Last night, high school football started in Utah. We're going to go into detail what happened out there. And this might be a sign of things to come in Ohio if people don't behave themselves. So we have that story. We'll talk about that and get some more people on the show, as it is a phone-in Friday, courtesy of MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Back in a bit. Stick around.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
telling more local stories
We'll look at efforts
Boy
to
is
curb
recovering from a broken.
around our
Good
valley
afternoon. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
because you expect
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County
Before
Court.
they become life-threatening.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends: shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms. It just tastes better.
Welcome back to a phone-in Friday edition of Running Point, courtesy of MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. And the aforementioned MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline is open, 330-886-0813. We made mention at the top of the show, last night high school football began in Utah. And there is a school in Utah, American Fork High School. Their athletic director, Jeremy Lewis, stopped the high school football game in the middle of the game. He just flat out stopped it because the fans were not following the mask and the social distancing requirements. Now, if you're not following the social distance requirements, that is code for the students were all bunched up together.
Yep.
The fans were all bunched up together, and they weren't sitting in their assigned seats, and they didn't have their masks up.
And that it's going to be tough for people because it's human nature to congregate at a football game. It's human nature for students to just want to be together and have a student section. It's going to be tough for people to break this kind of habit because it's kind of muscle memory, type thing.
Sure.
But you got to do it, and I hope that every athletic director in Ohio has the integrity that this guy had to say if they're not doing it, we're stopping the game until you do.
There's a video. There's a video of this, and I retweeted it on my Twitter account. I'm so proud of myself that I just said that without screwing up.
There you go.
All right. It's about a
teaching
minute
some
and 50
stuff.
seconds long, and the game was obviously televised, and their sideline reporter was announcing all of this. And while he was announcing it, the AD got on the phone, got on a wireless mic and told everyone, this game does not continue until y'all mask up and start sitting in your assigned seats. Now, my question, look, Utah is not known for their high school football. No disrespect to the folks living in Utah.
Hey,
You're not known for high school football.
You up, man. Utes.
Yeah, you all are not known for your high school football. I know people in Utah are giving me the... Yeah, no, trust me, it's because you're not, you don't play high school football like Ohio. That's just, look, I mean, it's the end of the day. You're not known for your high school football. But I think it's interesting that their athletic director was looking at this and going, no, we're not doing this. We're not continuing this game until everyone sits in their assigned seat and the masks are up. My question to you, Anthony, is there going to be a situation, or is there an athletic director in this area that has the stones to sit back and say, we're not going to continue a game until you people put your masks on and everyone sit in their assigned seats?
If this COVID-19 happened 20 years ago, I'd say, nah, probably not. They'd probably just, but now everyone has a camera. So if you don't, and then someone sends the video to someone of authority and says, hey, these guys aren't following the rules, instead of stopping the game for a couple minutes to lay down the law, you might stop your season for not following the rules. Especially, they were televised. So they had straight-up video evidence that their people weren't following the rules. 50 of our schools are going to be live video. So there's nowhere to hide if their fans aren't following the rules. So I hope that at least ADs on YSN are, apparent enough to do this, because if they don't, and then someone goes on YSN and says, these guys aren't following the and then someone, narcs on them and sends it to a person of authority, that school, instead of shutting down the game for a quarter or shutting down the game for a couple minutes, could lose the game and lose a couple games off their schedule.
Yeah,
or
no
God
question.
forbid, their season.
No question. I mean that was something that Governor DeWine had made mention, that we're going to take this seriously. If someone violates this, we're going to have them forfeit that game and shorten their season. Okay, that's kind of a strict punishment, but obviously a couple of things, and we brought this up. I think on Wednesday I brought this up. Leetonia is famous for, not just Leetonia, but I think all schools are famous for people on the track portion of the football stadium behind the snow fence, and they're essentially cheering the team on from behind the fence instead of an assigned seat. And I think that's going to be very interesting to see. Okay, how many of those folks that have been doing this their whole life, how many of them are going to be able to say, okay, I know that I want to do behind the snow fence and I want to stand there and watch the game, but I can't. And if I want to see my team play, if I want to see my child play or my grandson play, I'm going to have to sit in an assigned seat. That's going to be a tough thing as well.
Yeah, and no one's really come out and said what the standing room only kind of is going to be, because that capacity rule, the 15% capacity, only pertains to how much you can fit in your bleachers. And we all know that high school football, a lot of people don't sit in the bleachers, and they go and they stand on the grass, or at South Range there was that big hill that a lot of people stood on. Those people didn't count towards the stadium's capacity. So are they going to say, if you're coming to the game, you're staying in the bleachers and that's it? I mean, are they going to let people have their standing room only and social distance along the fence? I don't know. It's going to be up to the schools.
Absolutely. And the smaller schools, I mean, Anthony, let's be honest. The smaller schools, if you have a capacity of 1,000 people, well, if it's 15%, congratulations, you're getting 150 people in your stadium.
And most schools around here have at least a capacity of 2,000.
That's 300 people.
So, I mean...
Yeah. I mean, that's 300 people
Now,
in your stadium.
300. Now you say, okay, each football player gets 4 tickets.
Okay, 30 times 4, or let's say 40. 40 times 4 is $1.60.
Yeah, and then the band gets 1 apiece, or whatever, 2
whatever
apiece. Whatever
all right,
you give
so
in the
let's
band.
say 75 in the band. 75 times 2 is 150.
There you go.
There's your capacity.
Period. I mean, and then the cheerleaders are gonna get your parents don't get to go, and there's not going to be any public. There's not going to be any students.
I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to players are going to be 2, band members are going to be 2, cheerleaders are going to be 2.
You can't tell the players like, hey, I have a 6-year-old brother at home. Parents, you have to leave your kid at home if you want to come watch the football game. It's just, I don't see him doing that. I could see maybe a thing where each team has about 3 home games. So maybe it's something along the lines of football player A through L, your parents, and you get 4 tickets for game 1, and then 2 tickets, or something like that.
Yeah.
Where they spread them out, so not every football player gets 4 tickets for every game. I don't want to be the one making this decision because it's hard. It's a lot of numbers.
It's going to be a
crack.
really difficult decision, and it feels like there's going to be a lot of people
Especially
that are
at
going
the
to be
smaller
left out in the
school.
cold.
They are.
Which is why
Not really, 'cause
YSN is providing the $9.99 coverage for your team to watch the game and watch with video for this particular game. Now, the good news is, and as Steve Leslie, our GM, pointed out, 25%, approximately $2.50, is going to go back to the school that you're a fan of. So if you're tuning in for the Crestview pay-per-view, which it sounds so dirty to say that because you should never do a high school pay-per-view, but it's not. It's actually, well, I mean, technically it is, but it's because we have COVID. So $2.50 will be returned to the Crestview Athletic Department, which I think is a really good thing. So if you're not able to go, but you still want to see the Rebels or any of the other teams that we're going to be broadcasting this year, if you want to see them play, then you simply go to ysnlive.com, hit schools, drop-down box will occur, go to the school that you're looking to watch, click on that, and then you'll fill out a form for your $9.99. How you're going to be taken from a credit card, debit card, whatever, and then you're going to be able to watch the game.
Now, here's an important note that if you buy it on a device, that's the device you're watching it. Like, you can't buy it on your phone and then go get it on your TV. So unless you can connect your phone to your TV. So whatever device you buy it on, that's a device that you're going to be able to watch it on. So that's something that people should know ahead of time as we head into week 1 of high school football. So make sure you're buying it on the device that you want to sit and watch it for all night.
Yeah. So if you're purchasing this off of your laptop,
right,
or off of your iPad, then you're going to be watching the games from your iPad or your laptop.
You can't go and sign in and transfer from your laptop to your iPad. It's not going to work like that.
All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline is open. We are with you till 3 o'clock. A couple of other things. Cavaliers, the NBA lottery was last night. You would think the worst team in basketball would get a little bit higher or lower than a 5th pick in the draft, but for the second consecutive year, the Cavaliers once again kicked out of the top 3. Where is the good luck charm? Where is the kid of the Cavs owner? I thought he was this good luck charm.
He's the good luck charm for the Cavs is in LA playing for the Lakers. That's
that's true. Yeah, and by the way, the Lakers pounding the Blazers last night.
That's the last time the Cavs got fortunate in the NBA draft is when LeBron came out of high school, and everyone knows that was a sham.
Sure,
because there's no way he wasn't going to Cleveland.
Well, I mean, it's on the same lines of the New York Knicks getting Patrick Ewing and the ice cold plated placard that was the New York Knicks. I mean, if you're a conspiracy theorist, That was one of the big conspiracy theories going around in the 1980s that the New York Knicks were getting the first pick overall, and that's how they were doing it. But
the T-Wolves got 1, Golden State got 2, right?
yes,
So, I mean, we talked about it off air. There are talks where the Cavs could legitimately make a trade to Golden State to get up to that 2 spot. Then they have 2 and 5.
well, I mean, you could do that. It just I don't know if the Cavaliers would be willing to make a deal with Golden State. I would imagine that if they were to go up to number 2 without trading the 5th pick, so they would have 2 lottery picks, they would probably have to give up Garland or Sexton, not both. They would probably have to give up one of the 3 players, Love, Porter Jr., or Drummond, and maybe one B rule player. I don't know. Garland and Drummond for the number 2, that actually might work, but I don't know if Golden State is willing to absorb, albeit for 1 year, Drummond's contract. And the other part of this is it's going to come down to, assuming that they're wanting a post player, are you going to go with a young kid from Memphis and have him for 4, 5, 10 years, or do you want to try to make one more run, albeit without KD, one more run, and you have your post player in Drummond, and you go get a significant player to come off the bench in Darius Garland, and for the Cavaliers, you have the 2nd pick and the 5th pick.
So you're talking Golden State make one more run.
Yeah, Golden State would make one more run because Cleveland's not making a run. Look, if Cleveland were to do a trade, let's say it's Garland and Drummond for the 2nd pick. If they're doing this, assuming that the Minnesota Timberwolves take the kid from Georgia,
Anthony Edwards.
right? Anthony Edwards, do you go with Wiseman at number 2 and let him be the big guy of the future?
I would.
And then pick whoever at the 5 spot? I mean, I could see where Cleveland would want to do this, but I don't know if Golden State would be interested. Let's go to Rich. Rich, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's up, brother?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
What's up, man?
I'm doing all right. Hanging in there. Bunch of speed bumps, but nothing we can't handle. You know what
I hear you, brother. What's on your mind?
2 points I'd like to make. Number one, your opening, your lead-in was great about the announcer.
Yeah.
The broadcaster.
Yeah.
He pulled a Cosell, Marv Elfert, and Jimmy the Greek, and he put both feet in his mouth. That might be even a first.
As I like to say, he did his best Jim Brockmeyer impersonation, and he's probably going to be feeling the effects. I mean, he already is. Fox has let him go in the NFL coverage. We'll see what the Reds do.
Well, sadly, all 3 of the aforementioned, or 4, are just a microcosm of our society. And you nailed it when you said people use their religion to hide behind what we really are. We're seeing it on news every night. And it's pretty much our society. And it's a shameful thing. That's all I could say.
It just bothers me. And, there's a lot of people. And I certainly don't want to offend anyone that is religious, because that's a wonderful thing. I pride myself on being a decent Catholic person. I would lie if I said that I go to church every week. I haven't been to Mass in quite some time, but I pride myself on a very nice Catholic teaching. I don't want to say upbringing, because my family is not Catholic, but I pride myself on being a decent Catholic man. And I pride myself on having a reasonably good faith. But I'm not going to sit here and say, well, if I screw up, the first thing coming from my mouth, I'm going to guarantee you the first thing coming from my mouth isn't going to be, I'm a man of faith, because that's irrelevant. What you have said, the disgusting thing that you have said has absolutely nothing to do with your faith or lack thereof. Why would anyone want to bring their faith into a conversation after you have insulted someone? That makes no sense. That's a narcissistic poll, if you ask me.
That's pretty much, you nailed it. And there's a very big, thick line between religion and faith. But that being said, two points I'd like your opinion on, or your view. The Clevenger deal, along with his cohort, what's happening? What's happening with these guys?
Well, they're both in the minor leagues, and Rich, I'll let you know that Saturday the Indians have already announced that Tristan Mckenzie, who is the Indians' top pitching prospect, he is going to be making his major league debut on Saturday at Progressive Field, and that should pretty much tell everybody the validity or the anger, the amount of anger that this organization still has with Mike Clevenger and Zach Plesac, because both of these guys could have been called up on Saturday to get this spot in the rotation, but they have decided to go with an unproven commodity in Tristan Mckenzie, who, by the way, has not pitched in over a year in Major League in baseball. Period. He was injured and missed the entire 2019 minor league baseball season. He's healthy now, and he's been pitching in the minor league complex in Eastlake. But for the Indians to say, hey, Tristan Mckenzie, come on down, that pretty much tells me all I need to know about where the Indians are anger-wise with Clevenger and Plesac.
Are they marketable for a trade of any value?
Well, I think that you can get a boatload for Clevenger, and I think that the Indians are probably looking at that. I think if the Indians got the right deal, they would trade Clevenger in a heartbeat. I don't think that they can get as much for Plesac because Plesac is not as much a proven commodity as Clevenger is.
Okay. Question number 2. We'll just use Myles Garrett as an example. Signs a mega deal, big money. What if there's no season? Does he get paid that deal even with no season?
Yeah.
They have guaranteed money, so they'll get their guaranteed out of the year. They won't get a full year salary, but they'll get what they're guaranteed out of that contract.
Wow. Okay, guys. Well, Ron, you got my text. You guys have a great weekend. Rico, I'll be in touch with you.
All right, brother. Appreciate it.
Later.
Yep. 330-886-0813. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline open for business on this phone-in Friday, courtesy of MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Anthony, I'll throw this out to you. Tristan Mckenzie, who we haven't seen in Major League Baseball. The last time we saw Tristan Mckenzie was in Double-A Akron in 2018, although he did put up some pretty nice numbers for the Rubber Ducks in 2018. But we haven't seen him pitch in over a year. He is getting the start on Saturday. Boy, if that tells you, if that doesn't tell you the Indians are pissed at Clevenger and Plesac, I don't know what will.
Yeah, they're like digging in their chest for options other than Clevenger and Plesac. Hey, can we use this? We can use this. He hasn't pitched in a year, but who cares? He doesn't throw our teammates under the bus. And imagine if he comes in and then pitches lights out on Saturday. Oh, game over. Game over.
There is a better than average chance that Mckenzie will pitch lights out because I said this when I was over at Clear Channel doing or iHeartMedia, excuse me, when I was doing sports rap. Tristan Mckenzie is one of the best minor league pitchers when he's healthy. And this guy, the ceiling is unlimited with this guy. Now, I'd love to see him gain a few pounds because he's 6'5", $165, and he's really, really skinny. But the dude throws in the mid-90s. He has an unbelievable secondary pitch, and his changeup is unbelievable as well. He throws 3 high-quality major league type of pitches.
And they're playing the Tigers, who are struggling right now. Their offense was pretty good the first couple weeks of the season, mashing the ball, but now they're kind of coming back down to reality.
And keep in mind that there is not going to be a book. Yeah, and keep in mind there's not going to be a book on the young Tristan Mckenzie. So if he's dealing, he will put up some really good numbers. And if he does put up some good numbers, now the temptation of trading away at Clevenger is even more prevalent.
If he goes like 5 innings and doesn't allow a run, strikes out like 7 or 8, game over. Game over.
I'll be real curious to see what happens because, again, the trade deadline is 10 days away.
It'll be just as interesting if he comes out and doesn't pitch well. Then the Indians are like, well, now what do we do?
Well, he's going to get 2 opportunities because you're figuring McKenzie's going to be in the rotation. So he pitches on Saturday, August the 22nd. 5 days later, he'll pitch, and that would be on August the 27th, which is a Thursday. The trade deadline is the 31st. So McKenzie will have, theoretically, 2 starts under his belt, and the Indians will have an opportunity to see, okay, can this kid, albeit in just 2 starts, can this kid stand up to the big leagues and pitch really well?
He doesn't have to be phenomenal either because their rotation is already solid. So
yeah, exactly.
What he has to do is come out and be good enough to keep the Indians in the game.
If he's better than Plutko, I'm happy because now Plutko is the number 5. If you move Plutko to the 4 spot, then the Indians' rotation is not as up and down as devastating as it should be because obviously you have Bieber, you have Carrasco, and you have Savali. So you got a nice trio of pitchers right there that pitch reasonably well. If you get McKenzie to be better than Plutko, all right, now I have a quartet right here that I can rely on, assuming that they leave Plesac down in the minors the rest of the year.
In the playoffs, really, you don't use all 5 starters.
No, you only use 4. That's why I don't want Plutko to be one of those 4 guys. That's why if McKenzie can be better than Plutko, then I'm comfortable with that quartet. Now, I would be more comfortable if Plesac were in this instead of McKenzie, but I've given up on Clevenger. If I'm the Indians, even if McKenzie falls flat on his face, I still want that clown out of town. I just, look, Plesac is young and stupid. Young and stupid we can fix.
Old and stupid.
29 years old and stupid, I'm not fixing him. I want him out of Cleveland because I'm not going to fix him. If I can get Senzel from Cincinnati or Castellanos and a couple of minor leaguers and send Clevenger back with his good buddy Bauer and let him pitch in Cincinnati, I'm all for that. If I can get J.D. Martinez and Jeter Downs from Boston, I'm all for that. If I can get some young kids from Atlanta, some major league ready kids, because Atlanta is desperately needing a major league starter, if I can fleece Atlanta, I'm all for it.
If a American League team that is a contender, not like a top team, but a contender that might get in the playoffs, comes to you and says, we'll give you a pretty good bat, but we need a pitcher. Do you give that contender Clevenger?
Let's throw this out. Let's really put the cards on the table. The New York Yankees need pitching.
Right. So
because outside of Cole and Tanaka, their rotation is garbage. By the way, they got their ass kicked again yesterday by Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is now in first place. And they're going to stay in first place because they're the better baseball team because the Yankees' rotation is straight garbage after Cole and Tanaka. Now, if you were to add a Clevenger to go along with Cole and Tanaka, Yankees are going to the World Series.
Do the Indians do that? Like, because you're
well, it depends.
You're giving the Yankees the World Series.
It depends. Do you give me Kleber Torres?
Would the Yankees do that?
The Yankees would never give up Torres for Clevenger. Would the Yankees give up a Clint Frazier and 1 or 2 of the young bucks that they have in their minor league system for Clevenger? I mean...
See, I don't think the Indians would go for that.
No, I wouldn't want to trade with the Yankees because, if you're facing let's say you're facing the Yankees in the ALCS,
right?
You've helped this team. Now, if you don't have a solid bat in return, that's not helping you. I'm not sure I want to do this deal.
I wouldn't want to face Clevenger either because he's going to be pitching angry. Because even though he deserves to be gone out of Cleveland, he's going to.
He's going to be pissed at Cleveland. Absolutely, he is.
So I don't want to face Clevenger in the ALCS.
I'd want him out of the American League.
Right.
Now, but again, if the American League teams contenders want to have Clevenger, it's going to cost you a lot more than it would a National League team. So I'm going to have two different values for Clevenger. If I'm the Indians GM, and I don't claim to be, nor do I want to be on the radio, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I'm going to.
Throwback.
If I'm the Indians GM, I'm going to sit back and go, okay, if an American League team approaches me, I am going to want a ridiculous amount of talent for my Clevenger. If a National League general manager approaches me, I'm not going to ask for nearly as much, but I still want a significant haul for Clevenger because, whether we want to admit it or not, Mike Clevenger is still a quality pitcher. It's just he's worn out his welcome in Cleveland, and he's got to go.
You brought out Atlanta. Atlanta is leading their division right now, right?
Yeah, but Atlanta needs an arm in order to make a deep run in the playoffs.
What if you give them to Atlanta and you have to play them in the World Series?
I don't care.
You don't care. So once it's the World Series,
once it's the World Series, I don't care.
All right.
The Cubs. I think the Cubs could use another arm to go along with Hendricks and some of the other talent that they have.
They have a lot of offense to give up too.
Would you take a Chris Bryant and stick him in left field?
Yeah.
Would you take a?
But the Cubs aren't going to give away the face of their franchise.
Well, I got news for you. The Cubs have already hemmed and hawed about trading Mr. Bryant away because the face of their franchise is now Anthony Rizzo.
Okay, yeah, I can see it. I can see it being Rizzo.
Because Bryant really hasn't done all that much in the last couple of years in Chicago, and a change of scenery may help him out a little bit.
See, the guy I like in Chicago's lineup is Javier Baez, though.
You're preaching to the choir, kid. Yeah. If I could, boy, this is going to sound. Indians fans would hate me if I said this, but I'm going to anyway. If I could get Javier Baez, I would trade Lindor and Clevenger and get me Baez to let him play shortstop for another 4 or 5 years or however long his contract is. Chris Bryant and one or two of their minor league players and go from there. I mean, obviously, everyone in Cleveland would lose their mind because Lindor got traded, but I'll say it, Baez is a better shortstop. And he's a better player. I'll throw it out there. Sorry. Javi Baez is a better player than Lindor is. I'd rather have Baez on my team than Lindor.
I think Lindor's glove's better.
I think it is. I think it is, but there's not a great difference. Baez is not embarrassing at shortstop. He's not as flashy as Lindor, but he'll make the plays.
You're right.
And
then right now his bat's a little bit better.
Yeah. Yes.
But I think Lindor, you put him in a spot where he's comfortable.
If you put Lindor in the leadoff spot in Chicago instead of Chris Bryant, oh my God.
There goes the NL East.
Yeah, that's the Central's already pretty much won by the Cubs anyway. But the Cubs,
4.5.
I mean, look, if you're going to beat the Dodgers, you are going to have more pitching because the Dodgers can throw out Kershaw, they can throw out Buehler, they can throw out anyone under the sun.
If Kershaw beats his playoff bugaboos.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things that has to be worked out. One of the details that has to be worked out, obviously.
I bring the details.
Yeah,
Ron brings the big picture.
There you go. You bring the details, I bring the picture. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. Let's take a timeout. On the other side, we'll open up the phone lines and continue to talk about the upcoming high school football season. We're 6 days away from high school football. Man, this is going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk about it coming up in a bit. Stick around.
The details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well-appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Stay in the showers. I'm keeping my eye on in parts of Columbiana County.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
It is a phone-in Friday edition of Running Point, courtesy of MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. And the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline is open, 330-886-0813. There is golf to be played at the TPC in Boston. Park your car over by the yard. Can't park it on the fairway. Park it in the yard.
Hey, Kokrak did pretty good. I think he shot 3 under yesterday, so he's sitting in a good spot.
He is. He's been interesting today.
Yeah.
Let me throw these numbers out because Kokrak has been all over the place today. He is. You can tell that he's trying to put up a really good number, and he's playing borderline outrageous golf in terms of trying to make some stuff happen. Let me throw out what Kokrak has done today. Birdied the first, bogeyed the second, birdied the third, birdied the fourth, bogeyed the fifth, birdied the sixth. So 6 holes, 2 under par. Parred the seventh, bogeyed the eighth, parred the ninth. So 6 of the 9 holes he did not par. That's the good news. The bad news is he bogeyed 3 of those holes. The good news is he birdied 4 of the holes. So he shot 1 under in the front 9. Here's the back 9. Birdie, bogey, bogey, par, birdie, bogey, birdie, bogey, bogey, par, birdie, par, birdie. So he's 1 under in the back 9. He's on the 17th hole, and he has a 24-foot shot for a possible birdie, probably going to wind up parring that hole. He is 2 under on the day, 5 under for the tournament. He is tied for 29th. He's 7 shots back. Anthony, the story of the day is a historic round by Scotty Sheffler. Scotty Sheffler is 11 under par today. He is on the 18th hole. It is a par 5. His first shot, 309 yards. He is 238 yards from the hole. Now, he's not in the fairway. No. He's in the left intermediate rough. So 238 yards from the rough, probably not going to be on the green in 2. But if Scotty Sheffler happens to birdie this final hole, Scotty Sheffler will shoot a 59 at the TPC Boston.
Boston. Is that a record?
It's a record. Wicked hot. Man. Scheffler's wicked hot. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Wicked hot over in Boston. He parked his car in the yard. Yeah. Send him to Fenway to watch the Sox. Hot.
Maybe he can bat for the Sox, too, because they suck right now.
Yeah, no kidding. Pappy.
Pappy.
We'll call Scheffler Pappy. He's hot. Wicked hot. Yeah, so Scheffler is 11 under. By the way, he's 12 under for the tournament. He only shot a 1 under par in the first round. But he's in a tie for first place
all that
at 12 under.
All that, and you're only tied for first because you had a 1 under in the first round. So you might have the record-breaking round, and then you're not even going to have a lead.
Well, I want to know a little bit more about this guy. Where was he in the FedEx Cup rankings? He's 24th. So you talk about someone that looks like he's going to be ready to play golf next week. assuming he doesn't screw
Brian
this
said
up.
it. If someone in the top 30 wins, then their chances of winning the FedEx Cup are pretty good. So if he
11 under in one round, that's not too shabby. That is not too shabby at all. So we'll keep our ears.
What's Tiger doing?
Tiger golfs at 117 today.
He was like 3 under yesterday too, right?
Yeah, he's about 8 minutes away from golfing. He's 3 under, which is putting him in a tie for 51st. By the way, the cut line as of right now is at 2 under. Here are some of the guys that are in danger of missing the cut. Phil Mickelson is going to miss the cut. He is at even par. Bryson DeChambeau is Bryson DeChambeau this weekend. He is
I didn't
even.
Even pick him this time.
And he will be done because DeChambeau, if you remember, come in. Well, actually, he came in at number 4. I thought he was one of the ones on the extreme outside.
No, I think it's Brooks Koepka who's down.
That's right. You're absolutely right. Koepka pulled out of this tournament because of some back pains and whatnot. Snedeker 2 over. He golfs this afternoon. Snedeker was on that hit list. So he could very well have a problem. Ricky Fowler is supposed to be on the hit list. As of right now, Ricky Fowler is above the cut line. Rory McIlroy, my choice to win this tournament, shot a 2 under, and he's right now on the cut line. He just finished the first hole as he parred the hole in hole number 1. So he has a long way to go, and he's going to have to put up some ridiculous numbers in order for him to move along, because Fowler and Rory McIlroy are both outside of the top 70. These two guys are going to have to put forth a really good effort this weekend, along with Kokrak, in order to get into the next round of the FedEx Cup playoffs.
And I picked Webb Simpson. He shot a 1 under yesterday, so he's right in that thing too.
By the way, Kokrak did par the 17th hole, so he's 5 under on the day and a tie for 29th place. If he doesn't completely mangle the par 5 18th hole, which normally Kokrak birdies or pars. Very rarely will you see him bogey a par 5, though he did do it today on the second hole. Very rarely does he bogey a par 5. So Kokrak should be in pretty decent shape, and he should be playing this weekend, which, again, a top 15 finish, he should be in the top 70.
Yep, that's what Brian said. We're bowing down to his knowledge of how this FedEx Cup works, because me and you looked at each other before Brian called, and we were like, I don't know.
pretty much going.
It's because it changes so much.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah, it's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff that we're dealing with. All right, 330-886-0813. That is the number to call. Again, high school football begins 6 days from today. We had the offensive coordinator and the AD from Ursuline High School on, John DeSantis, and we thank him very much for that. Yeah, that offense is going to be absolutely loaded.
We said he's had a lot of tools or toys, whatever you want to call the offensive weapons he has. He has 3 running backs that would start almost anywhere else in the area, period. And he's got 3 of them. So he's going to have depth in the backfield. He's got a complete offensive line returning. They're Division 4, not Division 5, so I'm sorry about that
I'm sure
mistake.
that the Crestview, South Range, and LeBray coaches breathed a very heavy sigh of relief when they found out that they're not D5.
Plenty of teams in that D5 that they'll have trouble with, but at least they don't have to worry about Ursuline.
No, listen, I like, under the circumstances, I like what the OHSAA has done with this format. Okay, if you're not going to have a 10-game season, and they're banking on the fact that at some point in time, with the flu season coming up, as we go toward deeper and deeper into fall, that COVID-19 will continue to rear its ugly head, and combined with the flu season, this could be really, really tough. So you're going to knock it down to 6 weeks. I'm good with that. I'm especially good with the fact that now you're going to invite everybody in the state to go to the postseason.
The other reason they did that is the OHSA knows that there's going to be teams that don't play the full 6 games because they have an outbreak or whatever it may be. even if they have one kid test positive, they're going to shut down for at least a game. So, hey, I'm 2-2. I'm still in the playoffs, and it's sitting pretty. God forbid I miss 2 games. I'm still in the playoffs, and I'm still making money for the OHSAA.
Absolutely, and I like the fact that the coaches and not any of the media or the broadcasters or people that really don't know anything or don't know as much as the coaches are going to be the ones that are going to, just like in the basketball tournaments, they're going to look at the teams in the region, look at their records, and then they're going to do a seeding top to bottom. And by then, teams are going to have a certain amount of time to bow out of the postseason. If you don't want to go to the postseason, you simply inform the OHSAA, hey, and we don't want to go to the playoffs.
With coaches doing it, there's also some strategy into this too, because there could be in basketball, for example, there could be okay, we want the 1 seed, but we want to avoid this team because they match up a little bit better against us. So we'll be okay with the 2 seed. That way, that team has to play the other 1 seed, which matches up a little bit better with them. There's strategy that goes into where you want to be seated.
Oh, yeah.
And where you want to play, where you want to be in the bracket. So
Absolutely.
I like that the coaches get to have a say in that.
Look, I mean, let's be honest. And I'm sure that coaches are going to be going all the way into the quarterfinal aspect of it. So, assuming there are no upsets, the top 8 seeds would be in the quarterfinals. 1 would play 8, 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, 5. There's no reseeding, so you're going to have an interesting thing. So, assuming there are no upsets, the 1 seed will look and say, okay, which of these teams has a strength that could give us problems because we're weak in their strength? So if we don't stop the run very well and they have a beast at running back, I don't want any part of this guy, so I'm not going to seed him 8th. I'm going to seed him 4th.
Right.
Or no, not 4th. I'm going to seed him 5th.
Right.
So I don't have to see this team until potentially the regional finals.
And then all the other coaches that don't like you are going to seed them 8th, so you have to play them.
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly.
It's fun. There's back and forth. There's a lot of strategy that goes into it, and it's a fun time.
And then there's the bias part of it.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. In basketball, how many times has South Range had an unbelievable season, yet they're not the top seed? Well, they're not the top seed because some of the teams in Canton that are saying, hey, look at us. And then everyone says, okay, based on the tournament history, not based on this year, but based on the tournament history.
In that regard, based on their schedule, because Canton Central Catholic plays an unruly schedule. So they'll come into the tournament with a 500 record, but because they've played all but like one Division I team on their schedule and they're Division III, they're going to get the top seed. It's going to happen. It happens with girls basketball in Ursuline and Mooney too.
And there's a reason why schools that have really difficult schedules and play up normally do well in the tournaments.
And I like it because those coaches see the schedule that you're playing and go, hey, you don't have a great record, but look at these guys you're playing. I mean, it's ridiculous. And they'll reward you for that with the
Exactly. The computer doesn't reward it unless you have a win.
No.
Which, look, I mean, Dana Balish has said this, and I'll echo it. I have not seen, and I've lived in Texas, Florida, California, Illinois, Pennsylvania, New York. Now, New York isn't very much known for high school football, but the states that I've just listed, Tennessee is another one. Tennessee, Florida, Texas, California, Illinois, Pennsylvania. Those are 6 really, really good football states. High school football is big time in these 6 states. And all 6 of these states have a ridiculously stupid state playoff scenario. It's just dumb compared to the state of Ohio.
I'll give you another one, Missouri.
Missouri's pretty good too. Absolutely.
Great high school football.
Especially in the St. Louis area.
Yeah. Well, the 2 big
Kansas
cities,
City, yeah.
I mean, which is fun because they're on the opposite sides of the state, so they usually end up playing each other in the finals.
Sure, but their state tournaments and how they go about the state tournaments is just archaic as beyond belief. The state of Ohio, in my opinion, has the best system. Now, it's not perfect because you can schedule an unbelievably difficult schedule, but the computer does not give you any favors unless you win one of those games. You're not going to get extra credit for having a really tough schedule. The beautiful part of this year in our COVID world is everyone in the state is going to get the invite to play high school football on a state playoff level. Whether you take it or not, that's up to the AD, that's up to the coach, and that's up to, if you're 0-6 and you want to go to the state playoffs, that's your call. If you feel you're going to get destroyed, you're probably not going to want to take the 90-0 ass whipping.
I can't see a team that would not want to play. I mean, you go to your players and you say, hey, you want to play in the playoffs for the first time in program history, even if we have almost no chance to win, but you have a chance because the game starts at 0-0. So, yeah, you bet on yourself and you say, let's go strap them up and let's go play, because these seniors, it's their last chance and they get to say they played in a playoff game for the first time in program history. Sebring, for example. I mean,
they're the only ones right now.
They bet. I guarantee, even if they have a really hard season, they're going to be geared up for that playoff.
I would hope so, because this would be their first trip to the state playoffs.
Right.
I mean, no one can take that away from you. Mm-hmm. So I got no problems with that. But the beautiful part of this year, now the computer has nothing to do with who's going to qualify for the state playoffs. So if you have loaded your schedule, now you are going to be rewarded, because even if you aren't in the top 8, you're still going to the state playoffs. You're still going to be a very tough out, regardless of a team's record.
This only works because every team gets in. I mean, I think if you had the 8 team, I think the computer's the only way to do it, because when you only have 8 teams, then okay, human bias kind of goes into it, and then you kind of run into the whole college football idea where, hey, why aren't we number 8? We deserve to be there. You're not giving us because you don't like us, or whatever it may be. But I think because everyone's getting in this year, it lends itself to letting the coaches seed the teams.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be an awful lot of fun. I think that at the end of the day,
now everyone just has to follow all the rules so we get to the playoffs.
Well, and that's the other thing, and we will bring up again what happened last night. American Fork High School, American Fork, Utah. Don't ask me where it is. I have no clue.
Forks up.
Forks up. Yeah, there you go. Fork this place. At American Fork High School. Last night.
No forks given.
Yeah. All spoons given at American Fork High School. That's the no forks. We don't give a fork. Yeah. Welcome to American Fork High School, where we don't give a fork about you. But last night, the athletic director at American Fork High School in Utah saw all of the student body section converging, all of the fans converging, and everyone, or most everyone, having their mask down, and he flat out stopped the game in the middle of the game and said, this game is not going to resume until everybody goes back to their assigned seats and everyone has their mask on. If you don't do that, then you can get out of here, because we'll cancel this game.
He absolutely had to. I mean, it was a televised game. If he doesn't do that, it takes one person to send a video of that crowd not social distancing to a person of authority, and your season shut down like that.
I mean, even if it's not a televised game, I got to give props to this guy.
And in today's day and age, even if you're not on TV, everyone has a camera with one of these. So all it takes is one person to take a picture of your crowd and send it to somebody. Maybe you're beating up on the away team, and they're like, well, we'll show you. You're not following social distancing rules or whatever it may be. And then, boom, your season's done like that. So you have to in today's age.
And I'm not one that believes in narking on someone, but having said that, I mean, let's throw this scenario out there. Okay, let's throw this scenario out there. Let's say that Team A is beating Team B by 40 points, but then Team B, in about halfway through the fourth quarter, is noticing over in Team A's side of the field that their fans are all starting to congregate together, and then nobody's putting on their mask.
One picture.
And the students are all congregating together. And look, I mean, I don't believe in narking, but by the same token, I also don't believe in having a lot of people have COVID-19. And again, this is not about the deaths. That's a completely separate story from COVID-19. I don't want to talk about the deaths. That's not the discussion. What everyone is worried about is not just about people dying from COVID-19. It's about the spread of COVID-19 and how many people could get this. The dying part of it, that part of it is less than 1%. But the spread of that is the thing that's far more prevalent. So, though I don't believe in narking, if I'm over on the Team B sidelines, or if I'm on the Team B's the stands, and I'm looking across the way, and the fans are all together, and they don't have their masks on, and the student body's all together, and they don't have their mask on, you bet your ass I'm going to take some pictures of this, and I'm going to send it to the OHSAA. Absolutely I am. Because at that point, it's not narking now. That, to me, is, look, respect the rules and not have COVID spread all over the place. It's got, at this point now, it's got nothing to do with my team getting a cheap win. It has everything to do with you guys continuing to perpetuate the shit that we have right now, and the reason that we have to play a 6-game season because you irresponsible cruds don't know how to put your damn mask on.
And you won't have a narc problem if you just follow the rules.
There you go.
It's that simple.
There you go.
Hey, you narked on me. Hey, you broke the rules. Period. You broke the law. If someone narks on you for breaking the law, it's not their fault for turning you in. It's your fault for breaking the law.
Exactly.
Period.
So put your mask on, sit in your assigned seat, and cheer for your team. That's it. That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do, guys. Come on.
All you have to do.
And there will be a grace in week 1. I think they'll be like the AD where they just remember to keep, because it's hard. It's a habit. It's.
Hold on a second.
Oh, jeez.
This is your captain speaking. Welcome aboard to Leetonia High School Flight 365. Just a reminder, keep your masks on, and for those of you in attendance, you're going to have to continue to put your mask on and don't congregate together. Otherwise, we will be forfeiting this game, and you don't want your team to start off the season 0-1. Respect the COVID, respect the game, and cheer for our team, but don't act like a douchebag.
Thank you for choosing Air Latonia.
Thank you for choosing Air Latonia, and enjoy your flight, a.k.a. the game. There you go.
But yeah, there will be a grace probably in the first game because, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's human nature. It's human to congregate at a football game. It's gonna happen, and you're gonna have the AD come on the loudspeaker. Remember the social distancing rules. Remember to keep your mask on. But if it starts happening in week 2 and week 3, then you're going to have a problem.
Exactly. Look, I'll give you a great story. I was umpiring last year. Now, in the B League and in baseball in general, the rule was no spitting. Okay.
No one in the major leagues is following that, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, no one is. And no one's getting ejected either.
Right.
Which, I had an incident where one of the first basemen, one of the kids, did it. And I looked over at him and I was like, hey, not supposed to do that. He goes, what? I said, you just spit. He goes, I did? I said, okay, look, it's human nature. I get it. I'm not going to throw you out of the game, but I don't want you to do this, 5-6 times where I'll have to throw you out of the game. So, just be cognizant of the fact that you can't do that. He goes, all right, no problem. Well, he did it 1 or 2 more times, but I looked at him and he's like, it's a hard habit. I said, I know. That's why I'm not throwing you out of the game. It's just, don't do it a few more times. Otherwise, I'm going to have to.
Right.
It's just, you're going to be laxed on that. But there's a big difference between spitting and wearing a mask. Look, we've been wearing a mask now or at least you've been advised to wear a mask now for about 3 or 4 months. So the rule is going to be real simple. If you're going to a game next Thursday, next Friday, and in the weeks to follow, you're going to have to wear your mask. You're going to have to sit in an assigned seat. You're going to have those rules in place. If you can't do that, then that's where we step in and you pay $9.99
and you know
and
what?
you can watch a game that way.
In week 4 and 5, it's starting to start to get cold. You're going to want those masks up anyway.
This is true.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Ain't got no time for no frozen faces. Come on.
Exactly. Now, let me also advise people on something, because if you're wearing your mask correctly, you have to put the mask above your nose and you're breathing into your mask. I'm going to just do a public service announcement. I'm not going to out anybody, but I'm just going to do a public service announcement. Y'all need to get some damn antiseptic cleaner and start rinsing your mouth 2 or 3 times a day. Because if you're going to be wearing a mask and it's above your nose and it starts to stink, then now you're going to realize, I got bad breath. No wonder why I can't get a date. Or no wonder why my significant other is 50 feet away from me.
That's not social distancing. It's your breath.
And there you go.
Your breath stinks.
Your breath stinks. So that's another reason where if you do wear your mask,
Tic-tac?
make sure you're getting a Tic Tac, or, but better yet, make sure you go out and get Scope, Listerine, whatever product you like, and start using it 5 or 6 times a day.
Those Listerine patches?
Oh, yeah, the ones that dissolve in your mouth? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're going to have to use those. Because, spoiler alert, if you don't and you have the mask on and you're breathing through your mask, it's going to start to stink after a while, and then you're going to wonder, what the hell's going on here? Right. Oh, it's because you stink.
You're sitting there at the football game and you're like, something doesn't smell right, man.
Well, there you go. So I'm just trying to help people out. Just trying to help people out.
Here's another thing. If you're using the same one, if you're not using the disposable ones, wash it.
There you go.
Because you don't want that bacteria sitting in there.
Well, that's the other part of it.
Because then you can get other stuff that's not COVID-19.
Look, if you have a cloth mask and you're using it during the course of a week, it's got about a 1-week use. Throw it out. One of the paper, the ones that you normally get when you go to a doctor's office, the disposable ones, it's about a week use. So after a week, get rid of it. Put another one on the next week. Or if you have one of the N95 masks, just make sure you're cleaning it.
I have a G17 classified mask, so don't ask me about it.
A what?
G7. It's I think it's from Rush Hour when they're trying to
freezer thing around. They're
trying to convince what's the guy, Chris Tucker's character, that he has an important job. And they said it's G17 classified.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's G17 classified.
All right, yeah, G17 classified.
He goes bragging to his precinct. He's like, I work with the FBI, G17 classified. They're all laughing at him because it doesn't exist. So.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like for a second there that I was going to go Marvin the Martian and go, freezer thing or I'll blast you with my EX-317 laser gun. That laser gun doesn't exist, but, whatever. And that works.
Dude, you got to be a voice actor. Before the show, he did a on-point rendition of the Grinch song. Now, you can't sing because we don't want copyright infringements on Running Point. But let me tell you.
It was put on an album. That ain't copyright.
Let me tell you. I mean, my word. It was, bam, like, on point.
You're a sly one, Mr. Grinch.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Lordy. Yeah, the Mel Blanc of Youngstown, Mahoney Valley, internet, radio, whatever. Yeah, this is, what was it? A couple of nights ago, Family Guy was on, and Peter Griffin. Yeah, when you want to throw down a voice like Peter Griffin, hey, Lois, hey, you back off a little bit there, all right? Yeah.
We got to put you in a white shirt and green pants, and you can do that for us. You can be the in-studio Peter Griffin.
High school football from Crestview High School. Yeah, Rebels are in action. Who the hell's the quarterback over here? Yeah, Cusick. Yeah, that's him over there. Yeah, that's a heck of a pass right there. What do you... Hey, Quagmire, what do you think of that pass? I tell you what, that pass was looking really good. Giggity, giggity, giggity. Okay, yeah. This will be about the time where DJ's like, what the hell did I just do to bring this guy in to do baseball or football? Good Lord. This reminds me of the one and only time I did this, and this had to be done because of the name. we're in, Greenville, South Carolina. This was the one and only year when I was in AA ball. 2003 was the last year of the Greenville Braves. Then they moved on to Mississippi. So one and only year. It was 2003 and 2004. Orlando was the one and only year that we had Southern League Baseball. Then they became the Montgomery Biscuits. So 03 and 04, Greenville had AA baseball. And this was the Braves AA affiliate. The Braves AA affiliate closer was Sylvester. So naturally, my inner Mel Blanc wanted to have some fun with this. So Sylvester comes out in a 2-run game. Jacks are down 2 going into the 9th inning, and they bring on Sylvester. Billy Sylvester comes into the game. He throws a wicked slider, and I have my phone with me. Now, thank God there was really no texting per se. I mean, there was, but I really didn't have that much of it on my phone, and I had limited people that could text or call or whatever. But after the game was over, I get about 5 phone calls. What the hell was that? Why did you do that? It's Sylvester. Come on.
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. I'm trying to lighten things up. I mean, it was funny, but just call the game. All right. That's good.
No fun league over there.
No. At the end of the day, I think they were tired of me doing Paul Harvey and Walter Cronkite when we're down or up by 12 runs. Because there's nothing like Walter Cronkite broadcasting baseball. We go into the top half of the 9th inning. It's a 12-run game as the top of the batting order will come up for the team. And I get the guy, because it's a home game, and I get the guy over in the sound booth next door to me, just tears in his eyes. He's laughing so hard. All right, 330-886-0813. We'll take a timeout. This went off the rails pretty quickly.
It did.
Holy smokes. It's a phone-in Friday, courtesy of MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Phone lines are open. If you want to talk to Sylvester or whoever, we'll see if we can throw down some voices. Maybe Howard Cosell will come on. You ever hear me, Cosell?
I've heard that, yeah.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Howard Cosell, and you're not. YSN Live Studios. Right there! All right, back in a bit. Stick around. More to come. This went off the rails pretty quickly.
Time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
It is a phone-in Friday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline is open, 330-886-0813. Scotty Sheffler finishes the second round at the TPC in Boston. He birdies the 18th hole. He shot a 59 today. Wow. 12 under par, 59 for Scotty Sheffler. He now has 13 under par. He is the leader in the clubhouse. Jason Kokrak birdies the 18th hole, 3 under for the day, 6 under for the tournament, 7 shots off the pace. He is in the top 20 right now. So Kokrak is in really good position, but he didn't shoot nearly as well as Scheffler today.
Well, no one is going to shoot as well as Scheffler. I mean, my word. But, Brian said it. All Kokrak has to do is kind of make the weekend and then, play consistent now. I mean, you don't have to do anything amazing on Saturday and Sunday. Just be consistent. And you should be good getting into the next weekend.
Tiger Woods is off and running. He birdies the first hole, so he's now 4 under.
Tiger!
And he's in a tie for 39th place. As the cut line, as I look down here real quick, the cut line is now at 3 under. So here are some of the guys that are in danger or may not be going to the weekend. Harold Varner III is currently 2 under. He is through 6 holes, so he still has some work to do. Patrick Cantlay is 2 under through 3 holes. Gene Woodland, 2 under through 3 holes. Jordan Spieth and Justin Rose, neither one of these guys are on the course yet, but they're both 2 under par. This is interesting. Phil Mickelson is not going to be playing this weekend. He finishes at even par.
What about
Phil Mickelson's not going to be in the top 70.
What about Brian's guy, Justin Thomas?
Justin Thomas had a really good first round, so
he should be good.
I want to say that Thomas was up amongst the leaderboard. Let me look for him right now.
He's starting at 1 for the FedEx Cup, though, right? So, I mean, all he really has to do is...
He's 4 under on the day, 1 under... 4 under for the tournament, 1 under for the day. He is through 2 holes. So, there you go. By the way, Noxie wants to know the address to this place. What is the address?
169 East Taggart Street, East Palestine, Ohio. I don't remember the zip code. He shouldn't need the zip code.
Yeah. And we're going to...
Taggart, T-A-G-G-A-R-T.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, all those small town street names. We all know the... and once you say East Taggart, you know you're in East Palestine. If you say Columbia, you know you're in Leetonia. If you say... what's a popular road in Columbia?
And if you say filthy, you know you're in Athens, Georgia.
Wow!
Gotta get in. You led me to it. You led me to the river.
All right.
I had to take it.
Okay. That was low-hanging fruit, but that's that's all right. That's all right.
I haven't taken a shot at Georgia in a while.
No, that's true. That's true. You haven't, and I'm surprised that you haven't taken a shot at the perceived top pick in the NBA draft.
He's leaving Georgia, so I can't knock him now. And it's funny, if the Timberwolves take him, they're one of their. I think either their first or second pick that they took last season, maybe 2. Our best basketball player that we've had in a long time plays in Minnesota, Josh Okogie. So Georgia Tech and Georgia, meeting together in Minnesota if they take him. So kind of like when Stafford was throwing to Calvin Johnson in Detroit.
By the way, here is your draft lottery results. Minnesota will pick number 1, Golden State 2, Charlotte 3, Chicago 4. Cavaliers are picking 5th. How the Cavaliers got screwed out of the top 3 for a second straight year is beyond me. Atlanta number 6, Detroit 7, the New York Knicks 8, Washington 9, Phoenix 10, San Antonio 11, Sacramento 12, New Orleans 13, And the Boston Celtics with Memphis pick will be going at number 14.
Well, after 10 in this draft, I mean, it's pretty much, it's not a deep draft. There's not a lot of great NBA-ready talent. So after the top 10, you're splitting hairs at that point.
Now here's a mock draft in which the Timberwolves go with Anthony Edwards, the guard out of Georgia. Wiseman goes to Golden State. Charlotte takes LaMelo Ball. Chicago takes Avdija from Israel, which I don't think that's going to happen. But that would leave Cleveland with the shooting guard / small forward from Auburn, Isaac Okoro. That wouldn't be a bad choice for the Cavaliers.
Would love that. They would love that. That's exactly what they need.
Absolutely. And I think if the Cavaliers were to get Okoro at 5, that would be an outstanding pick. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Thanks for waiting. You're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on?
Hey, guys. It's Tony. Hey, great imitations, Ron. Great floor show.
Thank you, sir. We went off the rails in a hurry, though. I have to keep these. I have to keep these inner cartoon voices in my head.
Well, I don't know how you'll take this, but I think that's when it went on the rails, my friend. So, hey, a couple things. So you were
I'll tell you,
talking
get no
football.
respect. I'll tell you, no respect at all.
Hey, I just talked to an official this morning. I heard a lot of officials have opted out of officiating this fall. Anybody heard anything about a potential shortage?
Yeah, that's the first we've heard, and obviously the Mahoning Valley already has a shortage of officials. This could be pretty interesting and would lead to perhaps a lot of Thursday games for some schools and Friday games for other schools because, well, if the officiating is even smaller and we don't have enough officials to go around, then you would probably have to dictate those officials doing 2 games a week instead of 1 game a week. So you would have probably...
For Saturday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday evening.
Yeah, that or do the games on Thursday or Saturday, the day before or the day after a Friday. But that's only if, like you said, if we have a severe shortage in the officiating. And you bring up an interesting point, especially if it's true, Tony. I mean, you can't have a football game without officials. So if there is a large shortage of officials, you can expect a lot of those Friday games to be moved to a Thursday or a Saturday.
Yeah, these officials work in crews, so they're established crews. I wonder if they would maybe throw out the idea of reducing the size of the crews and having reconfiguring some of the crews.
Well, and that's, you bring up another good point. I mean, you have an umpire, you have a front judge, a back judge, a referee, and a side judge, if I'm not mistaken. So there's 5. I mean, could you go with a referee, an umpire, a back judge, and a field judge in high school football? Could you survive with a 4-man refereeing crew?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Somebody's out there's got to know. And I think there's probably, like in baseball, if you guys go down a man, there's changes in coverage of the field, I would assume.
Sure. Well, I mean, look, it's been proven that you can do a baseball game with 2 umpires, and it's also been proven that you don't necessarily have to have an umpire behind the plate. You can have an umpire calling balls and strikes from behind the pitcher's mound. I know I did that in this year because I did not want the ever so slight chance of getting COVID because of my living situation.
You did it the whole year?
I did it the whole year from behind the pitcher's mound. Look, I mean, this is just my opinion, and I will say it from my perspective. I could see the outside corner better from behind the pitcher's mound than I could from behind the plate, which pretty much tells me that I need to work on my positioning behind home plate, because behind the pitcher's mound, I could see a lot better the outside corner of home plate. I had a much better vision of the home plate area behind the pitcher's mound than I did from behind the plate.
2 comments about that. So the fact that I was allowed to scream at umpires and tell them they didn't see very well, that was a strike. I was justified from doing that in the stands, right?
I don't know about that. I mean, it depends on how far away you are from the stands. I mean, you know.
Yeah. And the other thing, that was a really stupid question I asked you. Any complaints? You're going to get complaints no matter where the hell you stand, right?
Well, I think that people were pretty much understanding that there's not going to be the complete accuracy that you have calling balls and strikes from behind home plate than there would be from behind home plate. So I think the coaches and managers and people in the stands were a lot less likely to get all over the umpire standing behind standing behind the pitcher's mound calling balls and strikes.
Hey, switching to the Indians, and I've just started following stats, and I obsess over stats. It's fun to follow them, and I think we have enough we can start following them. Something really jumped out at me, and I guess it's a commentary on the Cleveland Indians' ability to develop pitchers. Right now, your National League Cy Young winner is come on, help me.
Trevor Bauer,
in Cincinnati, and Bieber, who last year was our fourth pitcher, right?
Yeah. There's your American and National League Cy Young Award winner if the season were to end today. And they are both one's an Indian and one's a former Indian. So, yeah, no, it's and
well, they were both predominantly developed. Well, Bieber definitely developed, and Bauer had a very short stint with San Diego, right?
Yes, no, Bauer was in Cincinnati. He had a short stint in Arizona with the Diamondbacks.
Arizona, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, pretty impressive. That's a commentary on the Indians. And one other thing, it really jumped out at me, and we forget that the Indians generally have slow starts at the beginning of seasons. And I heard it off in the background, something about the Indians off to a good start. They're playing .640 ball now, 104 wins in a season pace right now. And that's the best start they've had in how many years?
Yeah, it's up there. It's definitely up there. And the fact that they're in second place a half a game in back of Minnesota, that pretty much tells you just how good the Twins are, too.
Twins are pretty good. I think the Indians have a better rotation.
Our batting's going to get better. Is their pitching going to get better?
I'll be curious to see how that shakes down. And by the way, speaking of pitching, and I've touted this kid, and unfortunately he's been hurt, but we find out just where Tristan Mckenzie is when he pitches on Saturday. He'll get his major league debut against the Detroit Tigers on Saturday at Progressive. And
Are they rushing him, or is it time?
No, it's time. It is time. But plus the fact that this pretty much speaks volumes for how mad they are at Clevenger and Plesac. Otherwise, if they weren't mad at those two guys, one of those two guys would be called back up to pitch the game. But clearly, the Indians are very disgusted with both of these guys for what they did a few weeks ago in Chicago, and that's why McKenzie's getting the start.
Is this a legitimate addition for the balance of the season, or is this a wake-up call to one of the two of these guys that's sitting on the fence?
We were talking about this because, look, I mean, if it's me, I want Clevenger gone regardless, whether McKenzie is good, solid, or if he gets bombed in the next two starts. I want Clevenger gone because he's 29. I can deal with young and stupid. Young and stupid is Plesac. He's 24. I can deal with young and stupid. 29 is no longer young. Clevenger is going to be stupid from here on out. And he's a liar. I can't deal with that anymore. He needs to go and get whatever you can in the right deal for Clevenger and go from there. If you can't get the right deal for Clevenger, then he's in the minor leagues the rest of the year. You get an extra year where Clevenger then becomes a free agent after the 2023 season instead of the 22 season because he will have been down in the minor leagues over 20 days, and that would give him even more of a of value. So then you'd trade him in the off season.
No, you don't. You don't see that you have to showcase him right now, or you think that his history proves itself.
Oh no, he's
proved itself.
Yeah, he's a proven commodity. They don't need to showcase him anymore. But like I was telling Anthony, if an American League team wants Clevenger, you're going to be paying far more for Clevenger than a National League team.
Well, who do you see in? Well, Pittsburgh definitely is probably ready to throw it in, but do they have people we want?
Well, Pittsburgh wouldn't even trade their kids. I mean, they're in the middle of a rebuild. I think the teams that would want them would be the contenders. Atlanta desperately needs a starting pitcher. The Cubs could use another starting pitcher to improve their status. The Dodgers can always use an extra starting pitcher. You know, you can never have enough pitching.
The Reds.
You go to the American League. I mean, the Reds are another one, especially given the fact he and Bauer are good friends. And I'd love to have Castellanos and a couple of their minor league players, and I'd love to have that. You go to the American League, even though Boston sucks this year. If you gave up Clevenger and got J.D. Martinez and Jeter Downs, who they acquired in from the Dodgers in the Mookie Betts trade, I could definitely see the Indians making that kind of a deal. As much as it pains me to say this, because the Yankees, that's a team that I just cringe every time I hear it, because I dislike them so much. But the Yankees need one more arm. They can only win so many games with Cole and Tanaka. You give the Yankees Clevenger, now you give the Yankees a leg up on everyone else in the American League. But, you know, if the Indians were to trade Clevenger to the Yankees, you best give me some of that really, really good talent, along with a Clint Frazier, who the Indians gave up in the Andrew Miller deal.
What's been up with? I haven't been following it. What's been up with Frazier? I know he's been kind of borderline.
He was down in the minor leagues until Judge hurt himself, and now he's back up because Stanton's down and Judge is down. Now he's back up on the major league club, and he homered his first game. So, you know, Frazier's a nice player. I don't know if he can be a 25, 30 home run guy like the Indians were touting him before the trade, and the Yankees were expecting. But if you can get 20, 25 dingers from him and a 280 average, yeah, I'll take it. I'll gladly take it.
Now, there's a question. The bright lights of New York aren't for everybody. And some people probably thrive in a more nurturing environment, right?
Yeah, and Clevenger is one of those guys that honestly don't know if he would be able to be big enough for the New York Lights. I thought Garrett Cole would be shrinking in the New York Lights, and as it turns out, Garrett Cole to this point is thriving. Now, you're not pitching in front of anyone, and the media really hasn't gone full force because, you know, that's even backed away. People aren't in your face on a daily basis because they're not allowed in the clubhouse. So that spotlight really isn't turned on all that well.
I was thinking the opposite, though. Clint Frazier. Maybe New York's been too much for him.
Oh, if he were back in Cleveland, I think that he would be in the major leagues right now, and he'd be an everyday player in the major leagues right now.
Okay. Well, I'll let you get back to your imitations.
Appreciate it. That's all, Tony. That was bad. All right, Noxie is here. I guess we'll get Scott on. We'll get him in studio. I'll have some fun with him.
Another thing about the Indians' offense, remember that AL Central has 4 of the top 6 team ERAs.
Yeah.
So their pitching in that division is very good right now.
Absolutely.
Indians and Twins are 1 and 2. White Sox and Royals are 5 and 6 in the team ERA in the American League. So, you know, don't knock their offense too much because they're going up against quality pitching every time they have a division game.
And when the Indians score 4 or more runs, they're undefeated this year, as I knock on wood.
Right.
So, you know, again, if the offense can score you 4 runs, they're golden in terms of winning the ball game.
As long as Plutko's not pitching.
That's, again, that is what it is. By the way, Plutko pitches tonight against Detroit. So that 20-game win streak may be in jeopardy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Detroit's scuffling.
Yeah. Dominance for 1,000, Alex. 330-886-0813. Back in a bit. Final hour of a phone-in Friday coming up in a bit. Stick around.
They say American craftsmanship is making a comeback. Of course, at Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, it never went away.
People are floored by Baird Brothers' authentic hardwood floors. They stare at our stairs and adore our doors. Baird Brothers reflects 3 generations of family craftsmanship. Visit our huge in-stock selection in person or at BairdBrothers.com.
Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plan still meets your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
That moment of silence brought to you by Simon and Garfunkel. Sounds of silence. Yeah. One of my favorite sayings when I was a DJ. If you had dead air, in the radio business, dead air is the devil. Yeah, dead air is the devil.
Everything the devil to you, mama.
That was good. Do that again.
Everything the devil to you, mama.
Oh my Lord! Adam Sandler is here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, dead air is just that is a thing that you definitely do not want. So anytime there's dead air for a few seconds, or in the case of sometimes a few minutes, you go on the air and this moment of silence brought to you by Simon and Garfunkel. Sounds of Silence. Or in today's, who did the remake of Sounds of Silence that sounds badass? It's not Korn. Who the hell did the remake of Sounds of Silence?
I'll get the research department on it, a.k.a. me.
Yeah, no doubt. Disturbed. Oh. Yeah, it was Disturbed. Oh, by the way,
grade A band right there.
Hey, listen, Disturbed did a really nice rendition. I mean, it was dark as hell, but they did a really nice rendition of Sound of Silence. That was Stephen King's Sounds of Silence. I mean, it was, you had the nice G-rated, clean-cut kids,
and then
Simon and Garfunkel, do 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 do, hello darkness, my old friend. And you got this stuff, but you got Disturbed, and you got the dude going, hello, darkness, my old friend.
And then in the background,
what the hell is this?
You got we all float down here, and Pennywise and all the Stephen King villains, giving you demonic subliminal messaging.
Yeah, Disturbed. I'm not big on remakes. I'm not big, whether it's movies, music, or whatever.
What did Nickelback did a cover of Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Automatically it's out because Nickelback is garbage. Yeah, that's just, there is a reason why Nickelback is the punchline for everyone in music. That's automatically that anyone brings up Nickelback, I'm just like, dude, if you're a fan, you have no taste in music. None whatsoever. Just go play in the street. Go play in traffic somewhere. I don't want to hear anything about that you have to say about music.
You don't want to hear Kevin Kroger's vocals? Is that Kevin Kroger?
Oh, God.
See, he's so bad I don't even know his name.
Jeez. Good Lord. Yeah, that's just no. But I'm not big on remakes, whether it be movies, music, or whatever. But Disturbed nailed Sound of Silence from Simon and Garfunkel. That was a great, albeit a dark version.
Breaking news.
Fantastic.
Disturbed is on Ron Potesta's playlist.
It is. Oh, no, listen, I'll be the first to admit, Disturbed Sound of Silence is certainly on my playlist. It absolutely is. That is a frightening, in a good way,
That is a
remake of Sound of Silence. Now,
that is a frightening match in a very scary part of heaven.
Now, I will say this. There are certain songs and certain movies that are never to be touched in terms of remake. If I ever hear someone try to remake Stairway to Heaven from Led Zeppelin, I'll throat punch the person. You cannot do that. That's just, there are certain songs that you should not remake. That is a classic. You can't do that. A movie, and there were some people in Hollywood that were hemming and hawing about doing this, and I'm sure
Well, everything's a remake now.
Yeah, I'm
no
sure
one has had an original idea in Hollywood in about 8 years.
I'm sure you've probably never seen this movie, although you might. You seem like the type of
It
person
depends
that
what
would do
direction
this.
you're going with this, because we went with the
Casablanca.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. If someone tries to remake Casablanca, I will go baseball bat to the throat on
I can
them.
see it happening because
No,
not like I would like it, but it's gonna happen because that's just what Hollywood does.
Oh, I would be so disappointed.
It's like trying to do another Godfather.
That's another one.
Don't touch it.
You cannot possibly be stupid enough to think, oh, we should remake The Godfather. Huh? Why would you want to do that?
Because they give him an offer I can't refuse.
Oh, wow. Yeah. See, I put it up, and there you go. Look at this. Noxie is coming into studio with a what was that? I got to
It's
ask.
like a Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt.
There you
100
go.
meters in the
There you go. Yeah. Are you making fun of my 8.95 40-yard dash?
He might be.
Yeah. I mean, jeez. I mean, and you should. I mean, there's slow, and then there's Ron Potesta slow.
Yeah, you do, man.
What's up, brother?
Nothing, Poe. What's going on?
I know. I'm trying to live the dream. I'm just trying to be a better human being. So I don't know if that's going to help me or anything like that. So
Day to day.
You're just in the middle of a non-sports conversation. We had dead air, so I said this moment of dead air brought to you by Simon and Garfunkel. Well, now of course Disturbed had the remake of Sound of Silence, brilliantly done in a dark way. But there are certain songs and certain movies that you would never, ever consider remaking because you'd get throat punched. Stairway to Heaven from Zeppelin is a song that I don't even want to hear a cover band do because I'll just walk up to the lead singer and do one of these numbers into his throat and not have him sing anymore. And if someone even has the audacity to try to remake The Godfather or Casablanca, I'll take a baseball bat to him.
Hey. Got to do what you got to do, pal.
I'm sorry, I can't get. Who's going to play the lead of in Casablanca? Who are you going to get that's better than Humphrey Bogart?
Never.
What are you going to put Jim Carrey in that role?
Please no.
Oh, I mean, even in a serious role.
Probably get like Matthew McConaughey.
No, even in a serious role, and let's talk about some of the greats like Pacino. Who brilliant as Michael Corleone in The Godfather.
He was great for The Godfather and maybe Scarface, but other than that, Al Pacino's not that good. Especially
Son of a Woman?
Godfather 3.
Son of a Woman? Are you kidding? He won the Academy Award.
Godfather 3.
Well, that's the redheaded stepchild. Nobody refers to Godfather 3.
His acting was terrible.
No, it was horrible. That was a money grab.
Al Pacino is a guy that screams and thinks that he's acting good.
Hoo-ah!
Hoo-ah!
No, Son of a Woman, which he beat Nicholson in Nicholson's role of A Few Good Men.
See, I would have...
And the last 5 minutes of A Few Good Men, actually the last 15 minutes of A Few Good Men, that is as badass as it gets. Because you get Nicholson in the air going, you can't handle the truth. Son, we live in a wall filled with borders. And who's going to guard that? You, Lieutenant McAfee?
This is a sports show, I swear.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right, and now we got to get back on sports. You're doing volleyball this year.
Yes, middle school volleyball.
There you go.
Awesome.
So, obviously, volleyball is considered to be the contact sport.
More contact.
The process of, when a serve and stuff is over with, are you guys cleaning the volleyballs after?
Basically, I'm 7th grade, and then there's 2 teams, 7th and 8th grade, and what they do is we have a separate game ball for each. But what we got to do with our practice balls or the warm-up balls is once we use them, then we got to clean them.
Yeah.
Yeah, as best that we
So
can.
what I thought is that the high school level, what I thought they do is to do what the colleges do and rotate 3 balls around for the game. So I always thought that would be a good idea for high school because it speeds the game up. You don't have to have the server back waiting for the ball to get chased if it goes out into the hallway or whatever. You just rotate 3 balls.
Yeah, they usually have 2, and we'd rotate 2 in case one, gets wherever. But they're saying 1 each, and then obviously you clean them off and you just keep playing. We just got our guidelines from our middle school AD today.
They took out tri matches and quad matches like yesterday. So ADs have been scrambling because the guideline says you can't play more than one team in a 24-hour period. A lot of volleyball teams start out their schedules with tri matches and quad matches, so that's all out the window.
Oh, that's you're putting everyone behind the 8 ball in terms of how many games you're going to be able to play in an already shortened season.
Yeah, and then obviously we have the spectator situation now where at the middle school they're allowed three family members, and we send a sheet home before the game, and that's got to be signed how many. So when they come through the door, they drop the money into the box and they walk in. There's no gate as far as selling tickets anymore. Same thing with the opposing team coming in with their fans. They already have a sheet. They get them checked off, drop the money in the box. They're in. At the end of the 7th grade game, they go out the door to at our gym at Glenwood. They go out the south side doors, and as soon as they're out, they're going to post a sign up in the window. Now the 8th grade parents come in, and off we go. So
is that going to be? And I know you're partially with the football program, and you talk with everyone over there. And Boardman is in a much better situation than some of the smaller schools because Spartan Stadium holds 7,000?
Yeah, seven to I think 8,500 right in there is the number.
So I mean, 15% of 8,500. You're looking at about 1,275 fans. If I did the math right in my Latonia education,
so even they don't meet that
boundaries.
1,500 cap.
Yeah, so it's 1,275. All right, 200 people in the band. If they're getting 3 tickets apiece, that's 600.
And I think at the high school they're each getting 4. I know the football team is getting 4. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's no more than 60 players. So 4 times 60 is 240. If you got no more than 150 members in the band, because you got to spread them all out to do a show, 150 times 2 or 4, 3 to 600, depending on where you are. And look, there's not going to be a whole lot of tickets that are going to be left over for the visiting teams. I mean, you're essentially going to be looking at an all home team setup here.
Yeah.
Because thinking about it, the visiting teams, you're not going to be able to see the games because the home teams have all these tickets. You know, it just dawned on me, if you're only like in Columbiana that seats 3,000, if that, you do 15% of 3,000, that's 450. 450 tickets are going to be out of here before the road team even gets a hold of anything. So this is all going to be basically home team is going to be watching their people, and the visitors, sorry about your luck, you're not getting a ticket to any of the games.
That's scary for the road team's parents because, God forbid their son gets hurt, they can't be in the stadium.
Yeah, I mean it's a numbers thing and it's crazy, but you're right. Home field is going to have set precedents here as far as attendance wise.
That's and that's something that I'm going to be really curious to see. And Anthony, you bring up the point that I wanted to make. You know, God forbid one of the kids gets hurt and it's the visiting team. If their parent isn't there, you want to talk about something that lawsuit, and we live in a lawsuit happy environment. Oh man, this could be ugly. I'm wondering if ADs are going to realize We have to include the visiting team
Well,
at least in a little bit here.
Yeah, you better get mom and dad through the door before anything.
Yeah, exactly.
At least one of them.
Yeah. So you're going to have to pretty much, the smaller schools are going to have to pretty much say, hey, by the way, 1 or 2 and that's it. Sorry. Which is why here at YSN, if you sign up and want to watch your team play at $9.99 a game, 25% of that goes to the high school that you're going to be rooting for. So that's a good way to still watch the game and be involved in your product. But that's volleyball. It's going to be difficult as well. I mean, there's people, and then you have to have the people put the masks on, make sure you're 6 feet apart. This is going to be challenging, to say the least.
Well, and then the other thing we just found out that we just had 3 scrimmages just this past week, and now we find out, because games are starting next week, coaches have to wear the mask the whole time, where at the scrimmages we were able to at least coach with them down. So now during timeouts we got to put them up. So that's okay because they're closer to you. But when they're on the floor wearing a mask, I mean, what do I got to do? Throw a clipboard at somebody to get them to move? Of course, it wouldn't be the first time.
You're gonna have to do
or the last.
Yeah, this is true.
It's gonna have to be a lot of nonverbal communication.
Well, yeah, and again, I mean, the good thing about it is in the volleyball situation, especially the middle school, I mean, we got the girls looking over all the time, so nonverbal is going to play an even bigger part.
Like you got a pretty loud voice. You can talk through a mask.
You got to be like the third base coach.
They'll hear me in the locker room coming out on the floor.
And Anthony's got the whole third base coach thing going on here.
Serve it to the 5 spot.
Yeah.
First touch.
That's it. Yeah, the first indicator is going to be what you're supposed to do here. This is going to mean spike it over the net. This is going to be drill it off the girl's ankle. Yeah, that's good stuff. See, I'm giving you ideas here. That's why I have you on.
Hey, that's what practice is all about. Got to plug it in.
You and I talked a little bit about the story that's becoming much ado about nothing, even though people still want to talk about it. The Padres situation with Fernando Tatis Jr. swinging on a 3-0 pitch in a 10-3 ball game. Look, when Johnny Bench, who does a great job on Twitter, I love his Twitter account, when he goes to Twitter and says, why is anyone complaining about this? The guy did his job. A meatball down the middle, 3-0, pitch was screaming, hit me to the roof as it was coming to the plate. What are you telling your guy? Oh, by the way, I don't want you to swing at this pitch. Now what happens if it's 3-1? And what happens if the pitcher gets him out and then the opposing team scores 8 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning to go up a run? What the hell kind of a message are we trying to send out? And how in the world are the Texas Rangers thinking that this is a problem? That Tatis did something that broke a rule that, look, I've been in the game for about 47, 48 years. I never heard this rule existing.
No, to me it's embarrassing. If I'm from the Texas Rangers standpoint, I would be asking my pitcher, what are you throwing it in the middle of the plate on any count? And again, you're under 10 to 12 runs. You get under that, it's fair game. When you get over 10 to 12 runs in any setup, I mean, obviously, the guy wasn't trying to steal third base, and we're not drag bunting if it gets over. But it's under 10 runs. 10 runs is fair game. I don't care what you do. So, totally ridiculous.
I mean, even if he's up 20 runs at a 3-0 pitch, I'm still going to swing. Now, if the ball goes into the alley, and Anthony and I have a little disagreement with this. If the ball goes into the alley, I'm stopping at first base. I'm not gonna sit back and take the second base. I'll just stop at first.
Professional level, I'm taking it, but that's just.
You might get the next pitch in your ear hole.
Hey, that means I'm in your head.
The ball's going to go into your, possibly.
Right. But the worst thing was his own manager was the one that came out and threw him under the bus too. I mean, that was the worst thing. I mean, Rangers are going to be upset about it. They're going to cry about it. But his own manager didn't even protect him.
That's where look. Woodward can say whatever he wants to. Stick a bottle in his mouth, burp him, and put his baby ass to bed. But for the San Diego's manager after the ball game to sit back and go, yeah, it probably wasn't the wisest thing for Tatis Jr. to do. What?
Yeah. Well,
and it's because he used to work for the Texas Rangers.
No, I get it, but still. Oof.
not a good thing. And like I say, what's it? Okay, 3-0, 3-1. To me, it's not a big difference in that situation. Guys get the green light all the time. Guys, professional baseball.
It's muscle. I mean, if you see a pitch that looks that good, you're going to tell your body to not swing at it after you've been trained to swing at it for years?
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, this is not 9 and 10-year-old baseball. This ain't little league baseball. And even then, look, as a pitcher, I don't care what count it is. You're not supposed to throw the ball in the middle of the plate anywhere, at any time, in any count. And the guy's got a bat in his hands. What do you want him to do? Set it on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, it's just. It screams trophy participation, and that's not the society that I want to see in athletics, especially in the major league level. I'm sorry, that just, you want that, go back to Little League, go back to T-ball when everyone gets a ribbon or a participation trophy. That stuff doesn't fly in Major League Baseball.
It further hurts bringing the youth fans to the game because then they're like, oh, geez, another unwritten rule.
Yeah. Again, just in unwritten rules, just at that level, that to even talk about or see what happened it's embarrassing. It really is.
You've been around baseball much of your life. You were blessed enough to be in minor league baseball. And obviously the game, and we know this, the game, the average age of a baseball fan is 57. That is by far and away the oldest of the four major sports. I think the NFL is in the early 40s. The NBA is in the upper 30s. Hockey is in the upper 30s, near 40. Major League Baseball is 57. So clearly the younger people aren't on board with Major League Baseball. You've been around post-baseball career with kids doing baseball and whatnot. If you were in Rob Manfred's position for a day, a week, a year, what are some of the things that you would want to see Major League Baseball do to bring some of the kids into the fold to watch Major League Baseball?
Well, I think obviously one of the biggest things is to, in every major league city, is to try to get that organization, for example, if it's Pittsburgh, get the Pirates involved in the community baseball setup. Because, and look, your players are there, and we know, all of us when we're younger kids, how we look up to, athletes, especially at the professional level.
Sure.
But the grassroots of getting your own players in your own major league city as much as they can out and getting involved in the community programs and getting them involved in the youth baseball programs, whether it's clinics, what have you. But again, create that buzz, create that excitement, and then in turn you get them to the game. You have East Palestine Little League night. You have Columbiana Youth Baseball night. Those things at the park and as such. And I think that, you got to plug in from that standpoint to get things going.
Yeah, can you imagine, and we'll stay with the Pirates, can you imagine Josh Bell going over to Aliquippa as the Little League in the city of Aliquippa is going to be opening up on a Saturday afternoon. Pirates are home on a Saturday night. They send Josh Bell over, and Josh Bell is the MC, or not the MC, but someone who's going to be there representing the Pirates organization as these kids are parading around the warning track like we used to do when Little League season opened up. Oh my God, you got the guy from the Pittsburgh Pirates, although 4-14, that's but he's still the guy, and he's in Aliquippa to give high fives to all the Little League players. That is going to be a major get for the Pirates organization and for everyone involved in Western PA. That's just, to do something like that would be a huge feather in the cap of the Pirates.
And that's one of the big problems. The MLB does a terrible job at marketing their own players.
Right. That's exactly right. And again, they take it for granted. I mean, you've seen obviously the caravan setups that they go around before the season, but that's not with really the younger kids. That's adults, and yeah, they can bring their whoever with them as far as their sons or daughters, but they need to plug in directly. And look, each year you just keep rotating it and get out there, and it's public relations. And again, like Anthony said, Major League Baseball just doesn't do a good enough job at that.
Now, you and I are about the same age. You have a year on me, and I remember as a kid growing up when we moved to Leetonia, 1972, the AL and the NLCS used to be on NBC. World Series used to be on NBC. And inevitably, one game would be on in the afternoon, one game would be on in the evening. Every so often, afternoon World Series games on a weekday or a weekend. Now, I lived where the Leetonia schools are, K through 12, back in the day. Orchard Hill Elementary School used to be there, and that's 500 yards from Orchard Hill to the place that I grew up in. I would sprint home as fast as I could, which was a little bit quicker than the god-awful 40-yard dash that I had on that you can see on ysnlive.com. But I would run all the way home, and I would watch the LCS because, I mean, it was great. And if you had a cool teacher, he or she would have a TV set up to watch baseball and blow off a period of studies and whatnot. We don't have that anymore. And that's, I feel bad. I feel sorry for the kids who didn't get that opportunity to do that on a regular basis in October.
Well, and I can remember, like you say, I can remember sometimes not even going to school to stay home and watch Jim Palmer pitch with Baltimore. The old afternoon playoff games against Oakland with Vita Blue and Gene Tennis.
Yep.
That was in '72. And then you had the other side where you had the Dodgers and the Phillies. And even an afternoon game, they would rotate. But Baltimore usually had that afternoon playoff game, and you know, had Mike Cuellar or Jim McNally and those guys pitching. But yeah, that was something to really look forward to. That was fun. And then you had Monday Night Baseball.
Absolutely, you had Monday Night Baseball on NBC and then later on ABC, and you had a lot of fun with that. Now, obviously, with the everybody has their contracts and everyone's playing 150 some odd games, all well and good, except Major League Baseball has this god-awful blackout rule that, depending on where you live, you might be blacked out of six to eight Major League Baseball teams, which is absolutely absurd. And why anyone would have the blackout rule this year when there's no fans, that's beyond stupid.
I can't. The MLB package still has a blackout. There's nobody at the game.
Why would you have a blackout? I mean, I understand you want to protect the channel that you might be watching games on, but you're assuming that these people have that cable package. You know, where I live in Columbiana, which is not my cousin's place. My cousin's place has DirecTV. If I wanted to get Major League Baseball on DirecTV, I'd do that. But you can get STO at my cousin's place. You can get AT&T Pittsburgh. Where I am living, you cannot get STO. So if I even sign up for the Major League package, even though I don't have STO, I can't watch the Indians because Major League Baseball was blacking me out, even though I don't have it on my TV, and I can't get it on my TV.
Well, this would obviously, this being the year where there's no fans, you just waive that and just say, hey,
you should.
Yeah,
it'd be the smart thing, especially in the Middle West. I meant the Midwest. There are states that don't even have an MLB team that are getting blacked out from. Like if you're in Iowa, you're blacked out from the St. Louis Cardinals, the Royals, probably the Brewers, at least 4 or 5 teams, and you're not anywhere near a stadium. You don't get any of those channels, but you're still blacked out from watching their game.
It's beyond stupid.
Lack of common sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey,
another reason why MLB is struggling to bring on young fans.
Absolutely.
At some point, when we're older and we're in our 70s and God willing, in our 80s, does Major League Baseball fall by the way of boxing and horse racing and the sports that were insanely popular back in the 40s and 50s that are now nowhere near as popular today?
If it continues to go that it is now, it has a good chance of doing that.
That's a scary proposition.
Very scary.
They need to embrace streaming because that's where it's going, and all the other sport leagues are embracing it, and the MLB better do it too, or they're going to be left in the dust. Just like they were when the transition from radio to TV. MLB lost ground because they didn't embrace TV, and now it's a hard sport to televise. But at the same thing, if you don't embrace streaming, you're going to be left behind.
But here's the frustrating part of this. Even though baseball is not popular in terms of the kids watching it, it's still very popular in terms of the kids wanting to play the sport. we're not hurting for kids not wanting to play baseball. Kids are still wanting to play baseball. They just don't watch the sport.
Right. And that's because baseball is low contact, and no one wants their kids to play football anymore because all the things that we know now about concussions.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And kids are playing it, but as a baseball coach, I mean, yeah, you don't have as much watching the sport as, I mean, we encourage that. There's so many avenues now to watch it that you can learn. All you got to do is listen to the announcers, and you can learn a lot by what's happening and strategies and how to hit, how to throw, how to pitch. But it's not happening enough.
No, definitely not. You were blessed to be in minor league baseball. You went to college, junior college, then went to the University of Kentucky. You were signed by the Pirates, played for a couple of years in the Pirates organization. So you pretty much know how great you have to be, whether it be high school to be drafted from high school or to go on to college to get the attention of the scouts. I tell people, even though I wasn't blessed enough to play it, I was blessed to be in it as a broadcaster and to see a dozen years worth of minor league talent. It is really, really tough. You got to be insanely talented to even get into minor league baseball or independent league baseball, let alone try to go into the majors. The worst major league player is 1,000,000 times better than anything that we've ever seen on a sandlot field.
Yeah, and again, I know we've talked about it before, but physically, the skill-wise, but mentally, it is such a grind. You get into that minor league baseball, you got the bus trips. It's 142 in the Carolina League the 1 year. But yeah, everybody can play. And there's players with more skills than others, but then it's timing. I mean, you could be behind a couple first-round picks. You're in Double-A, and the guy in the big leagues is obviously where he's at, and the guy in the Triple-A level was a bonus baby pick. And you're sitting in Double-A, and I mean, you could play for everybody else's big league team, but you just happen to be so. There comes a chance where maybe a trade down the road, but. Everybody can play, and staying with it mentally and physically, and hoping you get that one break where you get a chance to get called up.
Yeah, and that's where the scouts come into play, especially come the trade deadline. And I know when I was around some guys, when I got up to Double-A ball, Double-A seemed to be where everyone was now taking a look and saying, okay, we think that you can help us right now, or at the very least help us next year. So we're prone to wanting to get some of those guys instead of guys that are still back in A-ball and below. So 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the trade deadline, you have all these scouts that are trying to do their due diligence, knowing that their team is going to either be making a deal for a big-time player and they have to give up some minor league talent, or most of these scouts are from teams that are out of it, and they're like, okay, we're going to be giving up one of our big players, but here are some of the guys that we're going to want in return. I remember, and I've told this story many times, I remember the Indians having a scout in Huntsville, Alabama, when they traded CC Sabathia away, and they sent Sabathia to Milwaukee. Milwaukee's Double-A farm team was in Huntsville, Alabama. I happened to be in Huntsville for a 5-game series, I want to say about a week before the trade deadline. And the Indian scout and I started talking. And I said, who are you guys looking at? And he was saying Matt Laporta, and I looked at him, rolled my eyes, and said it's a bad move. So it's just Don Money and Matt Laporta don't get along. I'm trying to give him all the inside information, and he's got bosses. He's, all he sees is what's on the field. But, I looked at him and I said, you ought to get this guy. Oh, we tried. We're not allowed to get this guy. He's off limits. As it turns out, the throw-in guy, the Brewers they were okay with him, but they had Laporta on this high pedestal. Michael Brantley, nobody wanted to see him leave in the Brewers organization, but they weren't they didn't have him in as high regard as Matt Laporta. And I look at this now, knowing that Brantley is a 300 hitter in the bigs. Laporta couldn't get himself consistently in the bigs. It ain't a perfect science. And but to your point, if you're on a squad that's losing an awful lot, or a squad that's winning an awful lot, and they're trying to bring someone in over the top, you could be on your way out to a losing environment. But for a minor leaguer, great news, because that's a quicker trip to the major leagues.
No doubt. No doubt. And like I say, the biggest thing is you got to keep playing, because as you know, somebody's always watching.
There you go.
And no matter whether, it's that ground ball in the ninth inning after you're 0 for 4 and you're ready to, jump in the trash can and start over again, and then all of a sudden somebody's got the stopwatch on you because the trading deadline's next week, and that could be your big thing. So you got to always play to the end.
In any time in the minor leagues, did you come across someone that might have Cadillac'd up the first base line or did something that got the ire of your manager to the point where that person was told, hit the sticks, we don't want you anymore?
Well, yeah, we had a couple guys actually that over a period of time, they got moved down to low A.
Yeah.
They just moved them out.
Yeah.
They show up the next day and, go see Mr. Ed Ott and that's who our manager was at the time.
Nice.
Oh yeah, Otter.
Yeah.
Ed needs to see you. Well, it's just like in spring training when your number gets called over the loudspeaker and you got 2 days left before you're leaving. It's time to go to the airport, the Sarasota airport. It's like, all right, number 479, report to the sound tower. Guys, I think I'm on my way out. I'm heading to the airport. So by the time you see me, I'll be in Sarasota airport.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just, I had one of our kids, I'm not even going to mention his name. He loafed up the first base line and then did something in the field. Insanely talented player. Just an insanely talented player. But he did something really, really stupid to the point where the manager got on him. And then our bus driver, dude was our bus driver for the longest period of time. And he looks at him and he goes, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And the kid just like puts his head down and he starts walking back toward the back of the bus. I mean, he would already been shamed by the manager. Now the bus driver is even shaming him as well. So we knew that he was in some hot water. He wasn't on the team very much longer after that. I tell people it even in the high school level, you have someone watching you, whether it is a college coach looking to recruiting, whether it is someone in the B League or one of the teams that plays sandlot ball in this area looking to find someone 15 to 18 years of age. If you're playing high school ball and you do something juvenile, hey, you might have lost your ticket to something bigger and you didn't even know about it.
Yeah, and what we tell that obviously the younger guys trying to go to the college route, you're going to have a college guy show up at the field, whether he's watching you or not, might be watching one of your other teammates.
There you go.
And all of a sudden he notices you, but he may be coming to the park and he's saying, okay, I got a guy at East Palestine and I got a guy at Columbiana. They're both even. I'm going to go to both of their games today. Somebody's going to play themselves in and somebody's going to play themselves out. So I go to one of the games and they don't run out the ground ball, or they jog after a ball that's down the line and they don't hustle. They go to the other game and the guy's just getting after it. I mean, he's just, the players made the decision for the college coach at that
Exactly.
time. So again, they're going there and they're saying, okay, I'm right here, and we're talking about a college scholarship here. We know with the cost of education, you had one player play themselves out, another player play themselves in, just because of hustle, not because of skill. And the other guy might have been more skilled, but didn't get it done.
And the same thing with the major leagues and minor league scouts that are looking at, for particular draft picks. Look, I mean, it's an honor to be drafted. Now, in today's world, they're now knocking it down to 20 rounds, which I think is absolute baloney. But back in the day when you had 40 rounds, hell, even if you're a 40th round draft pick, okay, you're not going to get paid a whole lot of money, but how many people can sit back and say, I was drafted by a professional baseball team or a professional football or a professional basketball team? You know, and again, what your scenario, scout may look at this, look at the person, look at the lack of effort. Doors, the book is closed. You ain't going to get drafted. And these scouts, much like the college coaches, and Noxie, you know this, they do a lot of this. They do a lot of talking. So if you're Cadillacing up the first base line or not giving 100%, not only are you not giving 100% in front of a scout, you might as well write your own obituary, because that scout's going to be telling a bunch of other people, this guy is nothing more than a Cadillac guy up the first base line.
It's amazing how fast news travels, and we tell them, say, look, it's going to get out there. Do you want it positive or do you want it negative? And we know negative publicity travels faster than even something positive.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and it's a network. Scouts talk, coaches talk, and before you know it, you got Facebook, you got Twitter, you got Instagram.
And I was going to bring up social media. I mean, you can hurt yourself off the field just as easy as you can hurt yourself on the field.
Oh, absolutely.
You make one stupid Twitter post, every coach that is looking at you is going to see it.
Let me ask you, I mean, you did some high school baseball coaching. Your stance on Facebook and Twitter when these kids are playing is, I mean, you could say, hey, I don't want you on Twitter anymore, but then people are going to perceive you as like, oh, no, I can't play for him. But, I mean, can you, and would you lay down the law and say, guys, I don't want you Twittering unless you're doing something positive?
Well, yeah, I mean, you try to emphasize that, but I mean, my biggest thing would be is, look, if you put something on there that has a chance to get yourself into a situation where it's not going to be good, and you put it in my hands to make that decision, we're not going to have a disruption in our program, so we just get rid of it. And if you're gonna, it's like an umpire. You umpire. If you're going to leave that third strike up to the umpire, don't turn around and ask me why it was a strike. You shouldn't have got the third strike on you anyway. Do something to the first two strikes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So if you're going to leave it in my hands and it's something that looks negative on the program, we just get rid of that.
No, I agree with that.
We move on.
You know, when I was umpiring behind the plate not behind the plate, behind the mound this year, I told every 14-year-old pitcher when I had the plate from behind the mound, throw the ball in the general vicinity of the strike zone, I'm going to give you a strike. Just make sure that you're not, 10 inches off the plate or 6 inches off the plate. If you're within 4 inches off the plate, I'm going to call it a strike. As long as your knees to the letters, I'm going to call it a strike. And same thing with a player. I rung up a very good and will be a very good baseball player for Canfield High School. Rung him up. Was the pitch a strike? It was near the strike zone, and he should have swung the bat because there were 2 strikes on him. Sorry, but it's the same stance with you with the negative part of social media. Look. If you're going to do something that's going to be a hindrance to our culture, we're not going to put up with that. It's just you can't.
Yeah, and again, it's a program thing. I mean, it's a reflection on them. It's a reflection on their family. It's a reflection on our program, and it roots out everything. So we just say, you know what? You've made the decision, now you put it in my hands, and we're just going to clean it up.
Social media is a tool, and you can either use it to build yourself up and build your network, or you can use it just to destroy it. And like anything, it's a tool, and it's all about how you use it.
All right, coming up on 6 days from now, we got high school football. Ursuline opens up the season against Cheney, and then we'll have our regular football on Friday. You're now with the Boardman schools, and you're wearing the maroon very proudly, the maroon and white. As I have often said,
this is
once a Spartan, always a Spartan. I was born into the Boardman School District and went kindergarten, first, and second grade Robinwood Lane Elementary School. So even though if you cut me open, navy blue and white, but I got a little bit of maroon and white in me as well, because once a Spartan, always a Spartan. But Boardman's going to be a lot of fun this year.
Yeah. In fact, I just talked to Coach Ignazio a couple of days ago. They're really excited. And obviously, opening up with Austin Town Fitz, that's going to be a headbanger. I mean, and Fitch is going to be, what I hear is going to be also very skilled, very good. So that is a crazy first game. Two rivalries, two of the biggest schools in the Valley, and they open up. You usually finish the year with that game.
And I'm glad that they were able to get that game in right now. Because look, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news or put a wet blanket over anything. But let's be honest. If we have something where the governor or someone shuts down everything, at least you will have gotten the Boardman-Fitch game in. It's good to have that rivalry in week 1.
And I'm even hearing that Fitz might even have senior night that night.
A lot of the teams are just having the senior night right off the bat.
And you should.
Absolutely.
You absolutely should. Senior night and then have homecoming the next week and go from there. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. It's like, again, because week to week you don't know what's going to happen, but that would be a good thing. At least get that in.
Did you notice that Leetonia and Columbiana don't play each other this year?
I just saw that, actually.
Yeah. We had Julia on, was it Wednesday? I think we had Julia on Monday or Wednesday. We had him on, and he told his senior class, went down the schedule. Said, we open up against Southern, then we're playing Valley Christian, and then we're going to play Palestine, Lisbon, Palestine, Wellsville, and then we close out the season against United. He said the look on everyone's face, wait a second, what the hell's going on here? We're not playing Columbiana. They were looking and going, no. We have to play Columbiana. So if Columbiana and Leetonia get bounced, assuming we get a full season, if they get bounced early enough, they got to play before week 10. It's got to happen.
And people don't understand. And we were in high school. The Leetonia-Columbiana game was huge. That's back when Tony Kodak Coleman and Danny Guido and the Brooks brothers. That was back in the heydays. But Leetonia and Columbiana, big rivalry, as well as obviously East Palestine and other surrounding schools. But that's something that.
And the cool thing about back in our day, we weren't in the same league, so it was a week 1, week 2, or week 3 setup where you weren't playing week 10 because both teams were in the Tri-County League. Columbiana had gone on to the Inter-County League where Leetonia was in the Tri-County League. So it was a week 1, a week 2, or a week 3 setup. And man, when we were in school, it was a great game. Every time those two teams got together, it was a great environment.
Well, great environment and one of the more physical games that you would play in. I mean, it was like in hockey, you couldn't put your head down.
No, both teams were really weary for the next couple of weeks because they had left everything on the field. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was an awful lot of fun to watch.
That's going to be interesting because the ramp-up period for this football season is a lot shorter than usual. And teams like Boardman that open up against Austintown Fitch, that's going to be a very physical, hard-nosed game. Are they going to be physically able to bounce back from that and then go against another team the next week? And it's going to be a very physical grind all season because they didn't have the ramp-up that they usually get to have.
Speaking of that, I just happened to look at a couple of the schedules. Did you see Steubenville Big Red's coming up to Mooney the first week? That's the first week of the season. That's at YSU. And Big Red goes to play Fitch in week 6 at Fitch.
Nice.
So that's kind of nice to see that flavor. And we all know what we're getting with Big Red. I mean, that's going to be a pretty good setup.
And I'm surprised that in a 6-game setup that they would get away from Harding Stadium more than once.
They only have 2. I just saw on their 6-game schedule, 2 of their games are home and the rest of them are away.
Yeah, see that surprises me because Harding Stadium, that's normally, Now, then again, 15% of capacity. Harding Stadium is one of those stadiums, beautiful stadium in Steubenville, and you're literally on top of the action because the home stadium, the last row, is about this far away from the out-of-bounds line. So you're literally on the right on top of the action. So it's I could see where Steubenville would say, okay, we'll play a lot of our games on the road because how are we going to tell 9,500 people that go to every single one of our games, oh, by the way, only 15% of you are going to be able to go? You'd have a riot that would make anything in the last 6 months look tame down in Steubenville.
Yeah, And the nice thing about it is all the teams are in the playoffs, so they're not going to lose any computer points. At the end of 6 games, whether you're 0-6, 6-0, 3-3, everybody's in. So they're playing better competition, playing up, getting yourself ready for the playoffs.
And this is where, and Anthony and I had this conversation, I love when teams outside of football play up, knowing that everyone in the state of Ohio gets an opportunity to go to the tournaments. I don't care what the regular season record is. If you've played a really tough schedule and it's gotten you mentally and physically prepared for the tournament, doesn't matter what your record is. Look, Ursuline won a state championship 30-some-odd years ago with a 10-10 record.
You look at South Range Baseball a couple of years ago, they went into the tournament with a losing record.
Yeah, they were below 500 and they won a state championship. I mean, all you have to do is have a really tough regular season that gets you prepared and then have some luck in the postseason.
Yeah, scheduling up. And I mean, Mooney and Ursuline's done it. I mean, if you take a look at their schedule over the years, but
D1,
you know,
D1.
Yes, yes. And the biggest thing with that is staying healthy.
Right.
If you can stay healthy or get healthy before week 11 with the playoffs, I mean, you know, if you're Mooney and Ursuline and you're playing Boardman, Fitch, Massillon, St. Ignatius, Lakewood, St. Ed's, and then you go play somebody in your own division, it's like playing a JV team.
Yes.
I mean, it's
no
skill-wise.
disrespect, but you just got done throwing the gauntlet of all gauntlets. Anything else compared to that is going to be okay. I mean, a great story. We opened up the 84-85 Leetonia basketball team opened up with Columbiana, and we played them in Leetonia. Well, the weekend before, Leetonia went to Mansfield to play Mansfield St. Pete. Spent the night spent the night at one of the churches, so in a monastery. Spent the night there, and then Saturday morning drove down to Columbus. Remember old Columbus Worley High School?
Oh yeah.
Lawrence Funderburk, former NBA player. Jerry Francis, former NBA player. Eli Brewster, former NBA player. Went down, got destroyed by both teams. But nobody on the schedule, even Sebring, nobody was that good. So you were able to go back home, and after watching and playing against these two teams, we'll play Columbiana, we'll play Sebring, we'll play anyone on our schedule. We just got done playing the two best teams in the state of Ohio, arguably. Yeah, we got ready for this season because of that.
Yeah. And again, I mean, for a high school, I mean, yeah, in basketball, everybody wants to go 20-0, but 14-6 and playing against some of the bigger schools, boy, now you're ready.
Now you're ready to go?
Now you're ready to go.
Hey, before we let you go, PG stories. Can't do R-rated minor league stories, but PG stories. Because I know, look, Scott played between Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla. Bonds in left field, Bonilla in right field. You're in center field. Give me some of your favorites, minor league stories. And you have to keep them reasonably clean.
Well, one of the biggest things, obviously, the year I was in Prince William with Bonds and Bonilla, when we broke spring training, Bobby Bonilla, that's when he broke his leg in spring training. He ran into, remember Johnny Ray, the second baseman?
Oh, yeah.
They had a collision, ball hit behind Johnny Ray at second base, so they put Bonilla on rehab, and they sent him into Prince William, which was obviously our team. And then that's the same year that Bonds got drafted in June from Arizona State, and we were down in Norfolk, Virginia, and playing the Peninsula Phillies, and that's when Bonds joined our team. So you got Bonds and Bonilla on there, but probably one of the best things I can remember is when we used to, we were in Manassas, Virginia, was kind of our home site, which was 30 minutes from Washington, D.C., which was M Street.
Nice.
M Street's like High Street in Columbus.
There you go.
The old High Street.
There you go.
So me and Barry Bonds, they used to call us Miami Vice. We used to go out together and go into M Street, and we had a great time. And I had a midnight blue Trans Am with the roof off, and now Bonilla was kind of the jolly. But Bonds was really quiet, more of an introvert. But see, we got to know each other real well, and he was really open. But he was a guy that had to trust you a little bit before he come out of his shell.
Yeah.
So I can remember me and Bonds and a couple of the other guys were out at a nightclub, and it was probably, 1:30 in the morning. So we're coming out to the car, and all of a sudden we see sirens and lights going on probably a half a mile away. So we're going, man, that looks like a bad accident or something down there. So we walk down over the hill to our car, and it happens to be one of our, I think it was our third baseman, Mike Stevens, had him handcuffed, and he was in the back of a wagon. Head was bleeding, just a mess. And we're thinking, my God, that looks like Mike, and it was. So, we're going up there saying, Mike, what's going on? Somebody threw a beer bottle off my head and got in a little bit of trouble. I mean, and Ed Ott's rule, this was Ed Ott's rule. We break spring training, and we're standing in the clubhouse, and we open the season in Durham, North Carolina, against the old Durham Bulls at the old stadium.
The old athletic park.
Good old Mike Yastrzemski Jr. was on that team. Anyway, So we're going on a 10-day road trip. Lynchburg, Durham, Winston-Salem Cubs. So right out of the gate, he says, okay, I got one rule. If you get in trouble before 2:30 in the morning, you can call me anytime, anywhere. If it's after 2:30, I don't know you. That was Ed Ott's rule. So, so that was, but the Mike Stevens thing was like, geez, I mean, and then he got released after that, unfortunately. There's your negative publicity.
There you go.
And as such, Bonzi, Bonilla, and all those guys. And the thing about Bonilla was making big league money and also minor league money at the same time. So, and he was on rehab, so, he's just out there.
Was he purchasing spreads for everyone?
Yeah. Well, he's buying we used to come in after a game and everybody had like 5 hot dogs. He'd buy everybody hot dogs for after the game. It was already up in your locker when you come in. One of the biggest things was during the game you get in the situation, man, I'm awful hungry. Maybe I'll get in an argument and get thrown out. So you got guys getting in arguments, going to eat at the clubhouse, got their feet up, watching TV. Oh yeah, it's crazy stuff.
We had a situation. Pat Listash was managing our team, and the umpires were on strike. So we had replacement umpires, and at the Southern League president Don Mincher, God bless him, a former big leaguer, he had the edit written down. Nobody should be ejected from any game. You cannot be ejected. If you are ejected, you are going to face a fine. Okay. One of the umpires blew an obvious call, and Listash had enough. He goes out and he's barking at this guy, just relentlessly dropping F-bombs. The umpire doesn't throw him out of the game. Listash takes his hat off and throws it. Doesn't throw him out of the game. Listash takes his shirt off and his undershirt off. He's bare-chested on the field. The umpire doesn't throw him out of the game. Listash goes to take his pants off, and the umpire looks at him and he goes, "Dude, I don't want you getting fined, but I don't want people seeing that. You're out of here."
I got one quick Ed Ott story that you'll like. This. We're in Winston-Salem now. Winston-Salem, as you know, when you're staying at minor league hotels, you're not staying at the Radisson every night.
No, this is true.
Yeah, you got some days inns, you got some motor inns, but we happened to stay at this. I think it was a Hilton. That was the only place where we went on a road trip, but we stayed at a big league hotel. It was one time a year. So me and a couple of teammates, we go down to eat breakfast, the old free buffet, before. So it's probably 6:37 in the morning. We're down, and here comes Ed with his uniform still on at 7:30 in the morning. So as we're sitting and eating breakfast, here comes Ed Ott by and said, "Ed, you guys, that doubleheader lasted a little longer last night. Just getting in, huh?" Well, I mean, he's just coming in and he hasn't taken off his uniform yet, and it's 6:30 in the morning. And say, hey, Skipper, we'll see you in a couple hours here for batting practice. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, he just walked by and said, "All right, guys, we're good."
Hey, good seeing you, man.
You too. Thanks. Appreciate the opportunity.
Hopefully we can do this a little bit more often.
Be more than happy to.
All right. Anthony, good seeing you. We'll see you on Monday.
Oh, yeah, we'll see you on Monday.
Hey, Power Hour is coming up next. Have a great weekend, everyone. We will talk on